Now we're
That
live.
was very confusing. That's a new system. Hello, everyone, and welcome
I told you, it's just like the Skeleton Crew. We had to wait. And remember, I used to tiptoe
Monday.
over? You had time?
We're actually
Click the
here
button.
with the Skeleton Crew. Again, I'm going to start that today.
That was an exciting
The 8th
live
of August.
moment.
Yeah.
I think we're live.
If you weren't with us 2 years ago, at this point in time, we were a Skeleton Crew. We were all, most everyone was working from home except me and Steven doing this every day with the Skeleton Crew, which is currently Jonathan and Bryce at home making the cards show up on the screen, and then all of you at home, apparently the Skeleton Crew.
The original skeletons. Welcome, everybody. Hey, we've got a bunch of, we've changed the stream quite a bit this weekend. Did a lot of work on it. Trying to get a better quality product.
Keyforge says, did you upgrade the cameras? It looks like you're in 60 frames per second.
Oh my gosh, we are in 60 frames per second.
That's so much of us. It's insane.
Look at these beautiful men with their, man, my hair is out of control today. You got to get it cut, but then it's this annoying thing. I tried to set up this monthly haircut thing, but then they don't have an opening a month from the day you get the haircut. So it's like Tuesdays at 6. Cool. I'll set it up for that. And they're like, well, a month from now, Tuesday at 6 is not available. Yeah. It's like, well, then what's the freaking point?
That is a problem. I feel like you have more emotions about that than a lot of things we've talked about recently.
It's the only thing I feel.
I could really feel the hatred of that.
Here's the thing. There's Unique Deck Game. There's two. And listen, Unique Deck Game is probably copyrighted or trademarked, or there's something about it. I don't think.
Did you see? Hold on.
Ghost Galaxy can't use it. I think they call it a unique game.
Hold on, let me grab the tagline real quick.
And SolForge can't use it. That's a hybrid deck game.
The current website is keyforging.com.
Okay.
And then the subtitle says the unique card game.
The unique card game. We have a unique card game. We have a hybrid deck game. It's all this. It's all kind of the same thing.
But different and important little way. Hybrid deck game is SolForge Fusion. And then used to be a unique deck game with Keyforge.
I think Asmodee probably has that trademark.
Yeah, interesting that I feel like they would. Maybe that's just like something they're unwilling to give up. Is that the rights to that? They'll give you Keyforge, but not the name.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe that's just a little power play. I don't know. So here's the deal. There's two of these games now that are on the market, or at least about to be on the market. Both of them come from dead properties, dead games. SolForge being SolForge Fusion, Keyforge being Keyforge. And a lot of players like you, perhaps, are wondering, I kind of want to get into one of these, but I don't know exactly which one is right for me. So we're going to try to answer that question on the stream today. It also might be the kind of thing where like, what is a unique game at all? Why should I care about this format? That'll probably be answered for you today as well. Like there's always, if there's 10 comments on a video about a unique game, 9 of them will be like, oh, this looks great. This solves a lot of the problems I have with constructed games. And then one of them will always be, it's not, I can't change my deck. This is always going to fail. So hopefully we will dispel that, because technically, the only unique deck game did fail, but it wasn't a problem with the deck building or the player interest. I think more so it was a problem of the technology and other extraneous factors, not necessarily the format itself, because it has a lot of strengths. So we're going to talk about SolForge Fusion and Keyforge in this context. Then we're going to play a game of SolForge Fusion. We're going to play a game of Keyforge. You're going to be able to see both in action. You'll be able to make a informed choice. Or play both, or play none.
Why not both? Classic GIF/meme. So before we dive in, are we playing SolForge first? Is that what you said?
Yeah, sure. Let's do SolForge first. Whatever. Or Keyforge. Should we do Keyforge first because it's the first of the?
I mean, SolForge is hypothetically older.
Technically true.
This thing. So a little historical context before we start playing, which I think is probably the more important part here. One is that SolForge was originally a digital card game released a while back. Maybe I think it was like a decade ago, roughly. From Stoneblade, and that game came out, and then ultimately the cost to maintain the server and the app and all that stuff, which is more than the game was making on a purely digital front. Think like, I'm going to try to get it right the first time. Hearthstone?
Yeah, it's not like Earth.
I nailed it, first try. So think like Hearthstone, where it's just a purely digital card game. And
it was one of the originals, right? Like,
yeah, it was maybe
cut through the space.
And Richard Garfield was involved in the designer of Magic, also the designer of Keyforge, also the designer of SolForge, also the designer of Netrunner, Star Wars TCG,
and that robot game, Robo Rally.
Oh, also,
don't sleep on that one.
What was that? Mech Warrior?
BattleTech.
There it is.
TCG. Yeah.
Anyway, so he's involved, early digital card game, and then eventually that goes away. And then not that long after, actually, Fantasy Flight Games releases or announces Keyforge, which is also designed by Richard Garfield. But Keyforge was and that's what this is unique decks. So you buy a $10 deck. It's a fully legal deck that you don't change. Also, no two decks are exactly alike. Really interesting distribution model. Of course, one of the upsides is that you just pay $10 and you start playing. One of the downsides of that is there's no customization. Can't change anything. The deck that's in this pack is the deck that's in this pack. If it's not good or I don't enjoy it, there's nothing I can do with it. Unlike, like an LCG pack, you might only want one of the cards in there, but that one card is something you will actually use versus a stack of decks.
Yeah, that's the classic comparison, is even just a TCG, a trading card game, right? Heartbeat of the industry. You open a booster pack of cards, and you might be looking for one or two cards. Either you get the cards or you don't. Okay, cool. Well, I've got some extra trade fodder or whatever, and I open another pack and try to get the card that I need. And why you need those cards is because you have a deck idea in your head. You say, all right, I want to play the fish people. Speaking of dark tidings, I need the fish person leader to make this deck work, because it's an idea that I have. I look at the entire card pool and I say, I want to put these together in an interesting, unique way that I've come up with so that I can beat Zach, right? So that has an appeal. That's a constructed game is what that's called, where you collect components and then you make a deck that you face off against other people who have done the same. That is how things have worked in card games from the start, effectively.
And one of the crazy parts of that, right, the thing that draws us back in over and over again with that system is the humans playing that game actually create unique experiences every time they get together.
Right.
Because the deck you choose to play might be different than the deck that I was playing against Robert or against Jonathan or against whoever. So you can show up, play 3 or 4 different people, and have 3 or 4 totally different experiences using the same deck you want to use and the experience you want to have on your side of the table, which is very appealing.
Of course, we also know there's a weakness to that system in that a metagame for constructed formats quite usually develops where you're not getting a diverse experience of things to play against. You're playing against the same 2 decks, the same 3 decks over and over and over again. And that is a complaint for constructed metagames. And when that happens, usually players say, hey, ban these cards. Or, hey, restrict this because we're tired of seeing the same thing over and over.
And then a counterpoint to that, of course, is that, and it's why you and I all the time with a collectible game talk about how much we love drafts and sealed. Because now you're forced into a small pocket of cards. You have to make do with what you get. And that usually strikes at kind of the heart of the game that you fell in love with when you first started learning how to play, which is why when Keyforge came out, I was so excited for 2 big reasons. One, it feels like a sealed pool.
Yeah.
Sometimes a sealed pool is better than others. It just happens. Like it's just a fact of life. But then every game you play kind of feels like a sealed pool.
Yeah, like it's scrappier.
Yeah.
It's not optimized. It's not perfect.
Yeah. And then the other big thing, of course, is that you literally just pay $10 and you open a pack and you're in. Which is crazy low barrier of entry for a game like this.
Yeah, so that's one of the big advantages. You imagine a constructed environment, but without player input, it can only get so degenerate. It can only get so formulaic. So it promises a more thrilling, a more unexpected experience every time 2 new decks play against each other. At the same level, if you imagine in a trading card game, maybe there's one card that is like super awesome or super rare or whatever, and it's worth hundreds of dollars, and like, I want to collect this one card. Well, if you expand collectability from the components that make up a deck that you're collecting to then compile into a constructed deck, imagine that you take collectability and you expand it upwards to the entire deck itself. That every deck in Keyforge is a collectible object. There's only one of them. They will never, and that's even more than a trading card game. There's multiple copies of X card. There's only one copy of any deck in Keyforge or SolForge
that looks just like that.
And so now you've taken the collectability reality, where people like to collect things and try to find certain combinations of this or that, and you put it into the deck itself rather than just the cards in the deck, which also creates a new challenge for collectors, where they might be trying to find one that has, like to my original example, 10 fish people in it.
Yeah. Or the 4 horsemen.
Or the 4 horsemen.
Classic. Or the deadly sins. Or whatever the case may be.
Like my play style, right? I can find a deck that's my play style rather than building one.
Like humans do, it devolved, right? Or evolved. You be the judge of that. A very useful site that I use to manage my own collection was Decks of Keyforge. There was a SAS score
pretty
that was
on
developed.
the nose SEO there.
And essentially the two things, you could have a score that would rank general power level of your deck. It's really hard for an equation to fully map out synergy. So like
synergy.
You can do this card is an 8 out of 10, but really it's a 2 out of 10 unless you have this other card, and then it's a 15 out of 10, right? Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of that, but it's very challenging to actually mathematically do that many different unique combinations of cards and stuff. Anyways, the other thing that happened though is the filtering, the searching that you can do on that platform to find decks that have this combo of 3 cards that you want, right? I really like the Colosseum from, it was just a card I really dug in Keyforge. It really wasn't that great, but you could just look and see all the registered decks, which ones have Colosseum, which ones are registered on decks of Keyforge, and then you could send them a message and say, hey, I would trade you for that, or I'd buy that from you, or whatever.
Right.
But it felt to me like the constructed metas of games, where basically you get to a point, and I remember Game of Thrones as so many years deep.
You and I are probably the only ones, my friend.
So many years deep in the Game of Thrones LCG, and the reality was I only played Targaryen, and for anyone that remembers what Thrones is, that I just fell off the face of the earth.
I remember it was buried somewhere thousands of years ago.
And they would release 1 pack a month, and there'd be like 1 or 2 new Targaryen cards that I could play. But realistically, you look at 8 years of Targaryen cards, and Targaryen had like 300 unique cards, but really only 70 or 80 unique cards were the playable cards. Everything else was just, it was crazy. After 8 years, you had 70 choices.
Yeah, not nuts.
So you're playing as Targaryen, it's like you can play Dothraki or dragons, but it's pretty much one of these 2 or 3 lanes, and that's the same deck. Anyways, same here, where out of the Call of the Archon set, very quickly it was identified Brobnar's not that great. Like they're kind of behind the curve. So decks with Brobnar probably aren't going to be that good. And then you start finding these combinations of houses and cards are really powerful. And a lot of times, it was more varied than like a constructed environment. But a lot of times, good decks in the first set look like a good deck.
They do kind of the same things. There's only so many cards. The good combinations of stealing is inherently very strong. You find the things that steal the most, rush, amber, these kinds of strategies.
Things that can create keys off, and we'll explain all the rules in a minute.
And you notice that Keyforge did that. They got way better over time by adding cards that add icons to other cards, mavericks that come in from other houses. They've really tried to amplify the algorithm.
What was the thing that grabbed a card from a future set? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I do remember lightning bolt stuff around it. It was really cool.
No idea.
But Keyforge happened, and then they had this giant organized play planned for 2020.
$300,000.
Yeah, which
right?
If you know what happened
Warrior
in 2022, you know what happened in 2020, which is right before the organized play was going to kick off. I think it was literally in April at Adepticon was the first big event. Pandemic hits, everything gets canceled. Dark Tidings actually came out in the middle of the pandemic at some point. Then they revealed after that they lost the ability to create more decks because the technology, something happened to it. And then in stage left steps SolForge Fusion, which Stoneblade had this previous digital version. We did a lot of interviews and streams talking about this, but interviews with Justin Gary on the podcast about as soon as he saw Keyforge, a light bulb went off and he said, that's what we have to do to bring SolForge to the physical realm for the first time. Yeah. So they were already working on it. Then Keyforge suddenly is saying, hey, we can't make this anymore. In steps a Kickstarter from Stoneblade to launch the physical incarnation of SolForge Fusion. And there's a lot of differences, and we'll get into the gameplay differences once we've played both of them and are talking about that. But one of the biggest macro differences is you have a unique deck that is no other deck is just like it. But when you come to a game, you actually bring 2 of them, and they form a singular deck together. So you have a choice. Whereas in Keyforge, you just have one deck. So if the deck is missing some pieces or doesn't have quite what it needs, it kind of just goes on the bench.
Yep.
So there's that. And the second thing is the cards are heavily fused. So they started doing this in Keyforge a little bit. Like you were saying, they print icons on cards and stuff. But they actually have like keywords that pair with baseline, this dinosaur, this creature, this thing. And then those mix to form different things, right? Like this keyword gives you this ability and these stat changes.
Like they have a bank of adjectives and they have a bank of like default units, and then they mash those together, and you might have like a stalking velociraptor, or you might have an like emergent velociraptor.
I think Stout Shambler is one of the cards.
Yeah.
And so like Stout gives you more health. I think that's what the keyword does. And so it's the same, you know what a Shambler does. Like that's in your brain, but this keyword modifies this thing, and that keyword can be applied to every card. I think they said in the first set there's like 15,000 something unique cards.
Yeah.
And
they didn't even make them all. They didn't even print them all.
The first print run didn't even use every card.
Yeah.
Because it's so cool. Algorithmically generated. And then beyond that, so that was happening. They had a successful Kickstarter. They've been building a lot of momentum. That game isn't even out yet. The Kickstarter shipped, but that is actually coming out. The current street date for the retail release is September 22nd. Meantime, while they're building momentum and actually getting ready for launch, Keyforge recently, news happens, Ghost Galaxy Games buys the rights to Keyforge. If you're unfamiliar, Ghost Galaxy Games was founded by Christian T. Petersen, who was the original founder of Fantasy Flight Games, who was the original publisher of Keyforge. When Keyforge was being made, he was still there.
Also owns Artiforge, which was the printing technology they used for Keyforge. I think he pulled out of the FFG ecosystem and bought that as well.
Yeah.
As well as the Event Center, of course.
Yeah.
The Game Center.
The artist formerly known as the FFG Game Center. Yeah. So Keyforge gets bought, and then they make an announcement before Gen Con. Hey, this game's coming back. So actually, we weren't at Gen Con last week. Some crazy stuff happening there, but we weren't there. And both Keyforge and SolForge at Gen Con.
Head-to-head for the first time.
Yeah, both designed at least partially by Richard Garfield. They do have a lot of different... That's why we're here to have this conversation. They have a lot of differences. We've already gone over some of the more macro ones. And they're very different games, but we get that question a lot. Like, even whether or not, like, are you going to pick A or B? If someone's having to pick, like, if I'm going to get into one game, which one should I get into? That's a very nuanced answer that's really hard to answer in, like, 2 sentences without asking you a ton of questions. So hopefully this lets you decide for yourself.
I want to triangulate this just a little bit for folks.
All right.
I think this would be helpful, especially because unique deck games can really be appealing to people who are pretty new to the industry, new to the space. This might be your first card game ever. This is either one of these games are great choices for my entry into card gaming as a whole, or introducing a friend or relative into this world. So if you think about the reality of card games over the past X years, right? Starts as kind of an evolution. I view it as an evolution from baseball cards and collectability in that way, where what if we had collectible cards that rather than putting them on a shelf in a hard case and looking at them, we could actually play a game with them. Enter games like Magic the Gathering, that's the main one, launches an entire card game revolution.
See our Throwback Thursdays.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Idea there being you have random packs of cards, you take these cards, you put them together, and you create a deck that you then fight against another player with. Wonderful. So that happened for a while. Then we had what I would consider the LCG kind of revolution, which is what if everybody who buys a pack of cards gets the same cards and we release a new pack every month or so? So that was the living card game. Yeah, loosely. What if we intend to release a pack
on a good month?
Every month. And the idea there was, hey, because booster packs are built in such a way that they have a random distribution and they revolve around rarity, if you have a lot of money, you can buy a lot more booster packs, which means your likelihood of getting those rare cards is higher, which means your deck quality should be higher than somebody who can't spend as much on cards. Makes total sense, and that did play out. So what does the LCG come in and says, well, hey, what if we gave the same card gaming experience in that you construct a deck and you choose your favorite cards and you outsmart your opponent by your choices and your calls, but we remove the financial kind of impasse from the equation, and we say, you know what? Anybody who can spend $15 a month on these cards will have, it's been even playing field. What was the early thing?
Play the game, not the chase.
Play the game, not the chase. Boom, boom, boom. So the LCG comes in and says, hey, equal playing field for everybody. We're here to play the game, not collect the cards. Over time, LCG model in the head-to-head format ran into a lot of issues of skew bloat, like you have 20 different packs that are out and you need all of them to start playing the game in a competitive way. Also ran into issues where, because there's no collectability with that model, players bought one of everything that came out, and that was not a terribly sustainable economic engine for that format. So it was great, and it still can be great, and there are ways to do it, and I think there's a lot of unsolved things with the LCG format, but that was the evolution that happened then. Then the next evolution was the unique deck game, which is Keyforge coming out from FFG, the same people who brought us the LCG revolution, if you will. They said, what if we could have a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B?
Yep.
We got collectability, but you don't have to collect.
Yep.
And then we've got kind of that even playing field. Everyone's bringing a deck that's kind of along the same power level because you can't tweak it so much to make it a blowout.
And even just the basic economics of it, it keeps the barrier of entry low because anyone can start for $10. At any point.
Yeah.
You don't have to own anything else. You just $10, you're in.
And you pay $10, it could be the best deck in Keyforge.
Yep.
You have no idea.
But it also fixes the LCG problem, which is the cap. The maximum you'd expect an LCG player to spend per month is $15.
Yeah.
So just
But if you got deep pockets, you can keep buying Keyforge. You don't know that you'll get a better deck.
You can play as many sealed events as you want.
Yeah.
You can buy as many decks as you want. So it simultaneously keeps the barrier of entry low while making the ceiling on how many decks someone could buy very high, which is important because you have to ask your a question of if you're wanting, particularly retailers, to be involved in this thing. One $15 pack. Like we did this. We struggled through this. We opened our local store in 2012, and we heavily focused on LCGs at the time. Love the format. We grew up playing collectible card games. Never had enough money to really be competitive. Part of why I think we also lean draft and sealed.
Yeah.
It's like an even playing field for small town kids who don't have big budgets or people that just don't want to spend that much on games.
Just some old country boys.
But the equalizing factor of that, during the early years of the store, it was, okay, we have 30 people every week coming to Thrones. It's like, and we're not making any money doing this. We built this phenomenal community, lots of great people in that community. And it just wasn't sustainable. Right. And so anyways, you keep the barrier low, which is good, and you make the cap high. Yeah. So from a product idea standpoint, that's really strong. Yeah, and so then Keyforge happens for a while, and then, you discover some things when the format is out in the wild. Like there's a lot of people that are going to buy a lot of decks and find the best ones. Cool. If you have formats that incentivize people to do that on a competitive level, then you get back to the idea that if I can buy 100 decks to try to find the best one, and you can buy 2 decks and try to find the best one, I have a higher chance of getting an, on the whole, more powerful deck. SAS ratings come out. There's this whole idea that decks are very much stronger or weaker than others. And what that leads to is a lot of Keyforge decks that you buy that are out in the wild that just aren't bad enough to be good in the bad format, and aren't good enough to be good in the good format, like wanting a good deck versus wanting a bad deck. And so there's a lot of decks in Keyforge that are like, this could maybe be good, but it never will be unless there's some weird format that comes out. Enter 2 things there. Keyforge launches PvE, which allows you to create challenges as a designer that might flex different deck strengths that aren't just head-to-head gameplay. Then also SolForge Fusion comes out and says, we recognize the problem with Keyforge is that there's absolutely 0 input. We don't want to go full-on input of a constructed game, but we will let you take effectively 2 Keyforge decks, shuffle them together. Now, if one deck was weak because it was missing some critical function, we can take the other half and fix that to make a functional deck, presumably solving the problem and answering the question, what do I do with these decks that aren't exactly awesome? SolForge is saying every deck can be awesome if it finds the right partner, shuffle them together. And go. Even right now, Keyforge pivoted to you can match 2 decks. I'm not saying they should. But if you could match 2 decks of Keyforge together that have the same house mix, there's so many decks I have that would get way more interesting. Yeah. Like the number of the, what was the, Holy Knights from the first set? Sanctum? Mm-hmm. Sanctum decks that I have that have a lot of the fun cards and none of the Knights that need the fun cards. And if I could mix them with a deck that just has all of the Knights. Yeah. All of a sudden, it's like both of those are way more playable and way more fun. Anyways, but there's downsides to that, by the way, which we'll cover. Meantime, worth noting, I found out more about this over time. I don't know if anyone's mentioned in the chat yet, but Magic the Gathering launches the Jumpstart format, which, as I understand it, you take two packs of cards, shuffle them together, and that is your deck, your Jumpstart deck. Which is basically like SolForge Fusion. Which is basically like SolForge, so they're effectively getting into this unique deck game space, and they're investing more into it starting this year and doing more releases. Which is also Magic cards. So I assume those are legally playable and collectible cards for every other Magic format on the planet. One assumed. Yeah, Wizards are definitely paying attention to this phenomenon and trying to get in on, which on the goods. Is right. Good for them. It makes competing in this space as these kind of games challenging already because you're competing with behemoths that have been around forever. But they also start messing around, and the thing that makes you different is tough. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so I do want to get in. I think maybe the best thing to do is get into some gameplay right away. So
I say we actually start with Keyforge.
I agree.
I said SolForge Fusion originally, but because this is the simplest way that this whole format has started, and this is the appeal of what's about to happen. So we have this one pack of cards, and we're going to open it, and we're going to play right out of the box. We're not even going to look at our decks.
I need to scan the decks.
All right,
I don't need to do anything. Okay. So another fun fact of this is that both of these things have either a website or an app where you scan your deck.
For the audio there. Yeah. That's right. Tyler's saying Jumpstart decks are not unique, though. So you can use them in the collectible constructed format, but it's kind of like a upgraded draft sealed kind of feel whenever things happen. So it's at least, I think it's at least in the conversation in that the decks aren't unique, but they offer an experience that feels like a Keyforge SolForge experience, or at least what it feels like is envisioned.
Dave Vegel saying this is some super high quality video. Did you guys upgrade?
That's so awesome to hear, David. Thank you for saying that. Number 2. I believe you more than anybody because you've been watching for so long. It's great to see you in the chat. Yeah, so we did change a lot of things on the production side. The cameras are the same. We are at 60 now rather than 30. And we don't want to lose to anybody when it comes to quality.
We want to make sure you can see us in complete,
full stunning,
like you were sitting right here at the table with us.
Yeah, we might eventually have to get to, well, we will eventually get to 4K. I just, it's not, we don't need it yet, but maybe we do. I don't know.
Always be improving, right?
Okay.
Here's
let's. Yeah. What's that?
Did you say?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna. There it is. All right, so I'm gonna throw it.
How you feel about your house mix?
What's that?
I like the house mix a lot, actually. Unfathomable, Shadow, and Sanctum.
Yeah. So I see I have Mix, Blue Jib, The Selfish Cheat. What does MX period stand for?
Mix.
What
is Blue Jib?
Yeah, Blue Jib.
The Selfish Cheat.
That's a cool little avatar too.
I got Handcore, the Sisterly.
Oh, very nice.
Very simple name. Yeah,
Handcore, the Sisterly. All right, so we've got this. It tells us the 3 factions that we get. There's always an even split of factions. 33%, 33%, 30. Was that 10 each? How big are these decks? 45?
36.
30? 36. So what is that?
12 each.
12 each. You get a high tide, low tide. This is a mechanic in the game.
This is funny. Terrence asking why you're so fuzzy. Just kidding. Richard says, I still remember watching the first Isolation stream and how much of a difference it made in my world. The quality is growing so much. It's awesome.
That's so great to hear. Richard Bear Gardner.
Apparently, MX is gender neutral.
Okay. That actually makes sense. MX, a gender neutral title.
Mix.
So, how do you say it? Mix or Max? Mix, Max? See, Zach and I are old now. So
Casey, I do not think that's unfathomable.
You making jokes?
KC Gaming saying, just wait for the VR setup so that people can actually be sitting with you at the table. That would actually be cool if you could feel like you were sitting here with us.
Yeah. Torres88, are you guys planning on having a new room for your stream in your new store? We're building a studio and it looks awesome. It looks so awesome.
Yeah. It's really, one of the things I love about it is that you can actually see this in the studio from in the space that you play. Which is cool, like if we're like live streaming from an event when like, commentary and that kind of thing. So we can actually see what's going on and be there instead of tucked in like a back corner. And then also it's just cool because people come by and like they can see the studio, which I remember that we had that studio room where you could like, anytime I like snuck back there when people were in the store, they're like trying to peek in there.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just a room with some cameras,
and
but you can see.
We might also be able to have air conditioning.
Oh man. I'm excited about a lot of things in the new space, but that is, on a quality of life-ish, that's about as high as it gets.
Yeah, that's a big one. All right, so the way Keyforge works, you can watch actually like good how to play videos. So if you have absolutely no idea how Keyforge works, this is not a great place to start. We're not gonna like do a full tutorial or anything.
We even did a full tutorial.
Yeah, we did.
Here, before we even dive in, I have a summary of the differences gameplay-wise of these two games.
Okay. Give me the summary. Hold on, let me zoom out for it.
You will notice this as we play.
Notable.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I was thinking about this weekend. I knew this stream was coming.
Give it to us.
And honestly, I was really into Keyforge, if you remember.
Yeah, because you stepped out of your love affair with Star Wars yet again. Did you know?
Well, Destiny was at the end of its life.
I swear, so many of your life choices can be defined by falling out of love with Star Wars. That's when you're at your best.
I have a brand to maintain. So Star Wars Destiny was kind of going away, and I had really Keyforge was again, it's like you don't have to do deck building.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of show up on League Night and play and get a new deck and like have a good time. And I was planning on going to that World Championship in May. I think it was May of 2020 was when the first World Championship was supposed to be happening. And you had to qualify. I didn't, but someone qualified, and you can part of it was teams. So you had to bring 2 people with you into the World Championship.
I had no idea that was even a thing.
Yeah. So there were local teams going and stuff. But I say all that to say I love Keyforge, and now I'm a huge fan of SolForge. Honestly, these are great card games. But the difference between the two is just 100% that your brain power and your decision making comes at 2 distinctly different moments in these games. In Keyforge, it's all about what you do with what you have on the table.
Yeah.
In SolForge, it's about which of the cards in your hand you're going to play.
Yeah.
In Keyforge, literally, when you choose a house, you get to play all the cards in your hand of that house.
And why wouldn't you?
So usually, like I'd say at least 70% of the time, the right choice is whichever house you have the most cards of in your hand.
Right.
That's not always true, because sometimes usually the key tension in Keyforge is to use the stuff I have on the board, I usually can't put a lot of cards from my hand onto the board as well. So you're choosing between activating stuff and playing stuff from hand, and that's a big decision. And then the bigger decisions as well is how you're using the stuff you do put on the table. Like what you're fighting with, what you're attacking
Sequencing is
with.
a big deal.
Are you spending time reaping or clearing their board and like all that kind of stuff? In SolForge, none of the decision is about resolution. Like almost none of it. The resolution of the fighting and all how you're using the stuff on the table just happens automatic.
Yeah.
It's literally just you have 5 choices. You get 1 choice to make out of 5, 2 times a turn.
And where do you put them in the lane?
Yep.
Which lane do you put them in?
But
and then they fight, and you don't have to worry about it.
It's like the opposite. Like all the strategy and decision making comes at 2 totally different points.
And what you play, as you rightly mentioned in SolForge Fusion, what you play also determines your late game, because your cards are leveling up as you're playing them. So you're making a decision for the long game and the moment at the same time with 1 card play, which is really notable. And I think, like you're talking about in Keyforge, your late game is being determined in a more typical board presence, board advantage kind of way. Card advantage is hard to kind of quantify in Keyforge and SolForge because they're really not built around building a hand over time or gaining cards that your opponent isn't also gaining. It's really just about...
Logos can do that a little.
Logos can do that a little bit, yeah. But it's really about how you set up your board to have a board presence that either gets you to the late game that becomes very strong, so you survive, or that rushes your opponent down in the early to mid game, which is pretty classic. They both feel very much like classic card game decisions, but they're different decisions. You're right to note that.
Yeah, and Keyforge to me, if you played FFG LCGs, has a lot of similarities to those games. So like in the same way that you kind of fight for board position in Game of Thrones, and you're like killing things, and the way that's resolving in items and locations and that kind of thing. Neither of them have resource curves. That is very similar. But yeah, I think where your decision making is happening is completely opposite.
Yeah.
Just totally opposite.
Other notable thing to mention is the art style, the templating. SolForge Fusion feels older. It's more classic fantasy. It has like, I just opened up a Scry magazine from 2005, and this is the game that's being pitched to me. It feels very much in that kind of older school Warhammer type of dark fantasy. Keyforge, a lot more bubbly, a lot more of that like Hearthstone, kind of like bright colors. It's a racing game, so it's not like, you don't feel like you're cutthroat, like attacking each other and killing each other. So it can be really nice to have a more, I don't want to say passive, but like a less abrasive head-to-head experience. Also has the co-op variation, which is a really big deal.
Keyforge.
Neither of them have a digital app component yet. We expect that one of them will get there sooner than the other, and I think that would be a big selling point for the consideration here
for one or
what
either.
To play. Yeah.
Also, just macro-wise, Keyforge feels like a race.
It does. Yeah.
And SolForge feels like you're building to big moments. Like I think the big part of that, I noticed someone the other day was saying on the Discord channel that every game they see in SolForge usually ends in like a really big way. I think that's intentional, which is you should be seeing what cards you and your opponent are upgrading, and the kind of end-game state they're trying to create where they do get some kind of distinct advantage.
Yeah.
I think it's almost inherently, it's close until the moment that it's a blowout.
And you can see it as it's building. I can see what you're trying to build to. You can see what I'm trying to build to. And we still have to manage the moment as well. So 2 very good, very different games, and tons of different formats available. I think Keyforge has a lot more formats currently, but it also struggles because it has some of the classic board problems where you might have 20 things out and it gets really taxing, which makes the digital piece really difficult.
Where is that?
To the Table. Remember we were going to do a show called To the Table?
Yeah, and Square Table.
It's an idea ahead of its time, my friend.
There's a question.
Square Table is... It's is it self-deprecating? Is it the idea that we're squares?
I don't know. It depends on how we dress.
Well, if we dress like this, yes. The answer is yes. You're a bunch of squares.
Memnarch saying, "Why do you scan the pack?" So in both, you scan them to associate them with your account. I think the middle is like this one right here, right?
Yeah, you see it right there.
There's no lines.
No, you just gotta. We just gotta.
That feels middle based on that.
That's a bit middle. Although no, our camera
is off.
Our camera's off. Okay, hold on. I'll fix that real quick.
So you scan them and it ties it to your account.
We're going on a ride here, everybody.
Which has various benefits. Like in Keyforge, you get shards for every deck that you scan, which are spendable for we don't know yet.
Office chairs, dude.
But registering it to your account is good because if you need to, like when you sign up for tournaments and stuff, you say what deck you're playing. And both games actually have systems, or Keyforge did, SolForge will, where you level up decks in various ways, which is a really cool thing you can do in this game because the decks are unique. And you can actually, instead of like cards, right, leveling up or something, the whole deck does. Yeah, David was saying your game mat is not centered like it normally is.
Yeah. You know, who messed with it?
Ghost in the machine, dude.
Who messed with it?
John came in on the weekend, didn't he? Or
yeah,
Friday?
He did. He's a wild man. But that's good enough for government work right there. Yeah, choose your poison.
Fine.
All right, so here's a game of Keyforge. First player gets 7 and can mulligan to 6.
I hate hearing that Keyforge saying there was a guy that got the gamer chair and it was awful.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hear that.
Mansant, what's up, Mansant?
The Leviah legend.
Leviah legend himself.
Here's the question, man.
Is Hexagore gonna make it or not? No. Can we please get a Hexagore deck?
It's just a rhino deck with a couple splashy cards.
I banged my head against it a million times, man. That Hexagore deck, and it had one game. You remember that one game where it was slapping, and we were like, oh, "This is what it's supposed to do," and it never did it again.
It only needs to do it once.
That's you. You want to go first or second?
Yeah, I'll go first.
This is we're using Fuji XT3 cameras. Although we're looking at maybe, I don't know if you were starting from scratch live streaming, we're looking at maybe upgrading / changing our setup a bit because
always
they're still built to the old broadcast standards of 5994, 2997 on the frame rates that they operate at. And anymore, all these streaming services want a native 60 or 30. So you do run into some issues with sample rates when you got these more traditional DSLR style cameras. So I would just warn you when looking for cameras, if you're looking to stream, that's really important. But the Fuji's nice. They got the Eterna profile. They've got a beautiful like cinematic look to them. So, choose your poison.
All right, so I got to play one card, right? I get 7?
I'm going to put this up.
Is that right?
You get 7, and then you can mulligan or not. 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's just put these guys here. All right, well, so first player, you get 1 play.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Wow, Sanctum Shadows Unfathomable is like a dream.
Don't like any of this. I'm on mulligan. Bad start.
Yeah, base. Huh. The problem with Value Brain with Keyforge is that there's so many cards that are just so perfect for a moment that isn't right now. And you're like, I just got to play this to get the amber. And you don't want to. You don't want to.
You don't want to ever.
John Van Orsian, I found the SolForge art a little generic, not a deal breaker though. Lord Mew saying it is generic. It is generic. It is generic fantasy art.
Yeah, it's not trying to be anything else.
Yeah, just that's what you're getting into. All
right,
for sure.
I will go.
Might change. I think they're just using all the old SolForge art. They've already got it made. They paid to have it made for the digital game. I don't think this game gets made if you redo every card on the art budget side.
No, well, especially.
But now that they got some tuna, maybe the next set
is the truth. And you know what? I think this first set is gonna feel so classic. By the time we get 3 years in, and they're cruising, and the more I play with it, I actually dig it. But we play 90s games all the time.
Yeah.
And it's got that like, I don't mind the still frames from like the Lord of the Rings TCG where it's like we had this one frame of someone and that became a character.
Was it the A one I was using on the throwback on Thursday?
Yeah. Anyways, so I think it grows on you, but I do think that it will have a retro feel by the end of this. Like over time, I'm assuming it will evolve to a point because that game is it's got a rocket booster tied to it. I'm so bullish on SolForge as a game in general. I'm just a huge fan.
Get that finance talk right out of here. I don't even like that term. Keep that term away from my card games, man.
Yeah, it's just
PTSD from all the fab. I won't even say it.
I went to school for finance. These are just words in my vocabulary.
Yeah. It's a financial instrument. It's not an instrument for fun.
It's not like I'm not bullish on the aftermarket price or the economics of it.
Flashbacks,
I just think people are gonna start playing it when it comes out next month, and then realize this game rocks.
Yeah. All right. Well, sick.
We played for like a handful of times, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go buy some more decks, right now.
It is always more fun than I expect it to be when I sit down. Yeah. Which is what more can you say?
Meanwhile, real quick, I'm gonna take my turn. I'm gonna choose Star Alliance. You choose a house. You play in any number of cards, activate a number of cards that you have in play of that house. I'm gonna play Lieutenant Kurkar. I don't know how to say it. He's got 5 power and he's got taunt. His neighbors can't be attacked. You have to attack him first. Hazard is 3. When you attack him, you take 3 damage before you actually attack him. So have fun with him. Then you draw back up to your full hand size.
I also like Dichromatic Sphinx here saying, what I enjoyed about Keyforge was not just trying to play into combos from your deck, but from reading the opponent's deck card, understanding what they were playing into, and sniping it beforehand, which is also a feature of SolForge in that you can look at their level 3 cards and be like, what are they going to play into, which is pretty cool. Also... cheers to the stream. We're over 200 at this point, and that's notable. That's great. I'm glad to have everybody watching.
Props to marketing for basically putting 2 games in the same title, and well, boom, the communities come together and we have a good time.
Well, boom indeed. All right, well, there's really only one good... Wow, this is a bummer of a card. Wow, I've never played with Unfathomable. This is awesome.
You love the fish people.
I love fish.
Yeah, it's sea creatures and stuff.
Fishes. Okay, I'm going to choose Sanctum. I'm going to start by playing first or last. I'm going to purge each creature with the highest power.
What?
Enjoy that.
Cancel it. Where's my
That is one great thing about both these games. No reaction speed so far. Please let it be so. Let it be forever.
Works again saying click the like button. That's right. I need to remind everyone here, smash the like button. Also, you've been sitting there for an hour not doing anything.
Yeah.
Drink some water. If you hide your brain, we all know you hide your life.
One of the great long-term sponsors of the show. They've been here from the very first stream. Nalgene water bottles, made in the USA, 100% HDPE food grade plastic.
I was really trying to take a drink, and I almost spit.
I agree. Keyforge,
in the upper lowercase, if the title of the stream was Keyforge and SolForge will both fail. 1 million views.
1 million views right now. I'm going to play a Taxing Journey. A friendly creature captures 1, which you don't have. Each of its neighbors that shares a house also captures 1, which you
that'd be so good. But if you look, it has a little amber icon.
It's got a little amber icon, so I get to gain an amber. And then I'll refill my hand and pass it back to you.
All right.
Oh, I've got 2 of you? I got to get this tied high.
I'm going to choose Sanctum. I love this character. I really do. Keyforge is just a fun time. His name's Sir Bever. Look at this guy. He's got 1 power but 5 armor, and he's got taunt, so you have to attack him before his neighbors. But he just is hilarious. I also love this character, Barrister Hoya. Is that how you say that? Or Joya?
Yeah, best. I would say Hoya. Yeah.
And it says enemy creatures cannot reap.
Well, that's a problem.
And then you have to attack this first if you're going to attack it.
Cool combo, man.
So,
man, hey, that's awesome, Ethan. Liked and subbed to your Fab subscription service ×4 too.
Wow.
Killer. Just a beautiful family, right?
That's awesome. Now, can we put that on the description? Mansant subscribes.
Mansant approved.
If Mansant is willing, you should really realize how good of a deal this is.
What am I doing here?
Rain, the colored plastic bits are keys that we're trying to forge. Keyforge, you see? These 3 are mine. We have these amber tokens that we make that go in the key. So when you forge a key, you put 1 in. And the goal of the game is to get to 3 keys before your opponent. So we're both trying to do 3. We design them in a way where they technically lock in together like this, which is just fun.
I don't know. I can always just discard a card at the end of the turn. Right?
Chris says cards are going mad. Does that mean the pops are going crazy?
Oh, are they? Yeah, that's something that's good to let us know. Actually, we've implemented an automated system.
Jacob says card display is going nuts.
Alert! Where's the production?
Hit the kill switch.
Production team looks like they've logged into the computer. I can sense the unease. Yeah,
we still need the production camera. I swear. If you could just see the person having to fix this problem right now, it's great. We've been working for a long time on we call it pops when cards pop on the screen, but an automated pop system where I say a card and it shows up, and it mostly works.
It mostly works.
There's some experimentation going on today, though.
All right, I'm gonna play. I don't want to do this.
Could also be Bryce just pushing for job security.
Could be.
Like, hey, look, the robots mess up sometimes. You need me around.
It sure could be. Okay. I'm going to play Maelstrom. I'm going to start with the my first touch of Unfathomable. Put each creature on top of its owner's deck in a random order. So I'll go here.
So many board clears.
This will be even. Okay, so that one first and then that one. Oh. I don't know if it's random to you or random
I was just going to shuffle them up and put them on there.
Too. Yeah, that works too. That's probably how we should do it. That's actually random.
This where it says I'm not seeing pops at all.
There we go. So, Figuru, Poison. Your opponent refills their hand to 1 less card during their draw card step. So I'm playing one of those decks.
I feel that.
And then Flamegill Enforcer. After you raise the tide, this thing is enraged. And then I can take an action to capture 3 amber. And then I'll pass to you. I do gain 2 chains from this card, the clear card.
He has an action, capture 3? That's silly.
Yeah. Well, I gotta kill him. And then I will lose a chain and draw up to 5 cards instead of 6.
Chains.
I know what that one is. Great.
This first hand, other back. Brant's hand, there it is. Let's go. All right, mine?
Yeah.
We're gonna choose the Star Alliance. To Infinity and Beyond. I love the art on this one. Grand Alliance Council. I'm going to play it. Choose a creature of each house. I'm going to choose him. Destroy each creature not chosen. I can't let you make me not draw cards. Yeah. I'm going to play Xeno Training. For each house represented among friendly creatures, a friendly creature captures 1. Do you have any amber anywhere?
I got 1. You don't have a friendly creature.
Oh, that's right. It doesn't do anything. But it does gain me 1.
Boom.
Then we're going to play Static Collection Array. Gains me 1. It stays in play. It's an artifact. Keys cost -1 while the tide is high, and +1 while the tide is low. Mm-hmm. For everybody.
We gotta get this tide going, man.
Oh, we're gonna get this tide going. We're gonna play Sabotage Mission. Gets me a thing.
Look at you, little
Keys cost
amber man.
+1 for each different power value among friendly creatures during your opponent's next turn. Doesn't do anything?
Yeah, that won't matter, but it's
I'm just getting amber. You can technically go with those guys again and capture all 3 amber if you want. But really, I was just getting 4 cards out of hand and removing the thing that makes me draw 1 more. So passing it back to you.
All right, I'm going to play Shadows. We're going to start with One-Eyed Willa. This is the capture icon, is this correct? I'm sure it is.
Sure.
I'm sure it is.
We'll go with it. Till someone on the stream says otherwise.
Unless it's just to put 1 back in the pool.
This apparently only applies to me.
Okay, great. One-Eyed Willa comes in, and then you couldn't even believe it, Zach. Another One-Eyed Willa. This one does not have the capture icon because it got that through some, crazy means. Back in the day, they can steal one when they fight, and while the tide is high, they are elusive and skirmish.
Yeah.
So that's worth knowing. I'm going to lose my last chain and draw up.
All right. We're going to go with the unfathomable. I'm going to play Portal, gain an amber. And it says if the tide is high, archive Portal. Otherwise, raise the tide. So now you're in low tide city.
I'm in low tide, you're in high tide. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to play Brain Drain, gain an amber. And it says, look at your opponent's hand, choose a card from it, and put it on top of their deck.
I have so many cards that trigger off of that tide being high for me, and I just can't find anything that raises it. This is the problem.
Wow, Abandoned Ship is crazy town.
Can we call this Two-Eyed Willa?
You got a set of eyes there.
You get it? You understand. Zach Armstrong, 2 Willa, 2 eyes?
Dude, the Hammergram is pretty good too.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
The Gatekeeper is pretty
I'm tied to none of it.
Well, what we want is for you to have the least efficient turn possible.
You play card games.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put the Hammergram on top of your deck. Because I think you want to go Sanctum here.
These Unfathomables are just the worst.
Degenerates.
Yeah. Why is water stuff always so annoying?
It gets worse though. We're gonna play Hookmaster. He has when he fights, just so you're aware, if the tide is high, which it currently is for me, you lose 2.
Okay.
I'm also gonna play a Horrid Man. He's poisonous, so just watch out for that fish. He bites.
Okay.
And then I'll pass to you.
Fishy.
Now, also worth noting, creatures have summoning sickness, so you can't use them the first turn they come into play.
What does Skirmish do again? You remember that? Does it do its stuff first? Is that what Skirmish is? It does its damage first before you do it back?
I have no idea.
You don't remember? You remember Skirmish? This is OG. This is original Keyforge Skirmish.
No idea.
I think it's that I do my damage first.
Fudgenator says, Judge, this guy's played the game before. Chris says, can you raise the tide just by gaining chains? Yeah, you can. You can gain 3 chains and take the tide. Brent
this guy's enraged.
Wanted to point out, we have a token for that you can't get. Brent pointed out that the capture amber thing, you can capture it to any creature you want, just so you're aware.
Oh, cool.
Also worth noting that last time we streamed Keyforge, people were asking about the tokens and we were out of stock. Like we sold out very quickly. We have restocked those. So if you're wanting the amber tokens or the Archon tokens, now is the time.
Okay, so you got a poison guy.
Skirmish creature doesn't get damaged when it attacks.
Okay.
It just does the attack.
That's right. But the tide has got to be high for me. What does enrage mean? I got to fight? Is that the idea? That's what it would mean.
That's the only action it can take.
It's not even here. I don't even have enrage. Do you have one back there on yours? Do you have enrage on the back of your tide card?
That is my tide card.
Where?
The one you have in your hand.
Oh, where's mine? Here it is. Enraged. Oh, so they spread it around between them. That's cool. When a creature's enraged, must fight when used. So it must fight when used.
Mimnarch, all creatures actually have their life is equal to their power. And then the armor stat, so like on Hookmaster, he has a 1 armor. When they take damage the first time each turn, you cancel that much of the damage. So you'd have to take 5 in 1 round. And also damage is not persistent, so it doesn't stick around round to round.
And once the tide is in play, it can only be high or low. It can't go back to like neutral, right?
I think you can reset the tide. There are cards that just neutralize it.
Okay, but if I spend 3 chains, I can raise the tide, and now I'm the guy.
I'm the captain now.
Okay. Let's go Unfathomable. Let's attack this thing. 6 to 5 there, all told. I'll take 4 back.
This thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you lose the enrage counter.
That's right, I do. Not that I wanted it. And damage is persistent, right? Did we say that? Did you say it wasn't?
Is it?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it totally is.
Yeah. You talking out of here. How many games have we played over the past?
I don't know, man.
Too many.
It's all bleeding together.
What a terrible fate. I'm going to play Abandoned Ship. I'm going to gain an amber. I'm going to return that creature to your hand.
Why don't you just a good time?
And then I'm going to play my own Hookmaster. He's laughing now. The tide is high, it gets better. And then I'll draw up. Every one of these stupid Unfathomable cards says if the tide is high.
Well, you better be getting that tide high.
I know. Did the algorithm give me a Tide Razor? Tide Razor. Available now. I'm glad we're catching all of this in 60 frames. Oh, and then at the end of the turn, this is gone. This is gone.
Let's go with Sanctum again.
Brent, yeah, I had the chance from the board wipe earlier. Faux show. They're right here. I've already moved through them. It's only 2. It's a good card. Oh, it's right here in my hand. This raises the tide. Nothing.
I'm going to play... did I have more? Is this how this works? Oh, you bounced it. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I was like, why am I keep seeing these same cards?
It's awful.
I'm going to play Sir Bever again. That's the taunter.
Oh, yeah, they come in, tapped with me.
Yeah, I'm going to play Barrister Hoya.
This looks like a turn I've seen before.
Yeah, then I'm going to play Badge Magus. Badge Magus.
What'd you call me?
Has deploy, so it can deploy anywhere in the battle line, like I can do this. It has a fight ability that says, ready and fight with each of its neighbors one at a time.
Oh, my. You're not going to put it in the middle.
Well, this has taunt. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So...
Who's Fudginator, by the way? Do you know Fudginator? Seems like a very famous Keyforge personality. Everyone's talking like, that's the case.
No.
You don't know?
I'm not familiar. I will play it like that. And then I will pass it to you. Something's happening.
Yeah, are we playing yet? Like we're getting set up now.
Wow.
It's like we just got this board.
CBS Inc. You guys excited about that or hesitant about the FFG Star Wars deck building game they announced at Gen Con?
I don't know anything about it. What does it mean? Is it just a deck builder? Is it just like a normal board game? Or are they going to be clever and make it like a head-to-head deck builder?
Well, it's like, the core set's a deck builder, but you can use all these cards in this head-to-head 1v1. I don't know anything. My overall excitement for Star Wars in general is pretty low right now. And I've been
He's wised up.
I've been through the ringer with Star Wars and Star Wars card games from FFG. So I'm low expectations, low excitement right now. Zach Armstrong says, "Oh, there's the chat bots. You love to see it."
Oh wait, hold on. I'm gonna cut him off at the pass.
I'm blogging on YouTube.
That you can't. Also, if anyone from YouTube is watching, that you cannot save the default. Have to be subscribed to leave a comment. Shame on you.
Yeah, Larry and Sergey.
Shame on you.
Get on it.
That is strictly wrong.
Zach Armstrong saying Fudginator is one of the most online Keyforge fans.
Awesome. Great to
have you.
have
I don't know
what
that means. He says one of the most online Keyforge fans.
Love it. We love it. Glad to have you here. We're going to get all of the...
Keyforge saying, if only there was a dating site I could sign up and meet some adults. Oh.
All right, so now you have to subscribe for 20 minutes to leave a comment. So we're going to get to see who's a real fan.
Or a real patient bot.
Yeah, and they are that. They will subscribe for 10 minutes
Turns
to
out
launch
bots
this.
Have literally infinite time.
Yeah. Okay. We're there. It's done. All right, so anyone who stops chatting will know they were never subscribed. And that will be, we can cast them out. We'll see if Fudginator has anything left to
if
say.
you want to comment, you better smash that like button and subscribe.
Oh, look, Andre's here. Zach Armstrong wasn't bluffing. He said, Fudginator, where's your, Mansant?
Real fan check, man.
Marissa, what's up? It's so funny.
Carteret saying, I'm the most dedicated bot. I've been here for years. For
Alex getting it. What's up, Alex? How's the mail route today? Is it hot?
Yes.
Yeah, man, this is great. Dude, Fudginator on Fudginator.
This is hot. And he's the most online Keyforge fan.
He's obviously,
according to Zach, the most online Keyforge.
How could anyone even know that?
He's more online than anybody.
I've got a great exchange here. I'm going to choose Unfathomable, and I'm going to clean up a little bit here.
Hey, you know what? Here's the thing. Where's it at? Clockwork Gadget saying, truly, the realest fans are already in the Discord channel. Am I right? I think you're right.
Lovely.
Chris saying subscribe by. I love it.
CBS Inc. been here since X-Wing 1.0. Since Paul Heaver landed his X-Wing on top of the FFG Event Center and won the championship.
Yeah, and then flew away.
I'm going to choose Unfathomable. I'm going to attack Sir Bever the Taunter.
He pokes you for 1.
I'm going to take 1 damage. You're going to die.
He's gone.
Or be defeated. Beautiful. Then Hookmaster is going to attack Badge Mage. I'm going to take 3 because armor 1, and you're going to die.
Read him and weep him.
I guess I should just dump these out. That's just being dumb. Read them and weep them, boys.
Chris Gilbert, only the most online would be in Discord.
And then finally a Portugal.
Portal.
If the tide is high, archive it. Otherwise, raise the tide.
Oh, boo.
So that comes up, and I gain an amber. Setting up my Two-Eyed Willa Rush. Okay. And I'll pass to you and draw a card. Enhance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm going to go with Star Alliance. Classic.
I can only imagine. It's about to get exciting.
Yeah. We're going to play Biome Discovery. Gain an amber.
Yeah, Carteret, you're an old schooler. I remember you guys digging through the latest Game of Thrones first edition packs for those sick Greyjoy cards.
Remember that the days when we had to buy like 3 packs to get a playset because they only have 1 of 10 cards?
That's a way to get around that collectible model. Just
What if they had to buy 3 actually? Perhaps you should just make packs triple the price.
Oh, that's what I should do. Hold on. Alex is right. Alex is a genius. So I'm going to play Portugal first, raise the tide, then fight with Hookmaster because I should read the card. Your opponent loses too.
It would have been convenient if you'd done that.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I can't possibly imagine a world where I just made that mistake.
Fine.
Right?
I'm going to play Biome Discovery. I gained 1, and it says, if the tide is high, it's not. I can do 1 thing. Otherwise, raise the tide.
Come on, man.
Ain't no rest for the wicked, dude. I'm going to play Comm Officer Gross. When I play it, I may search my deck for Comm Officer Hings, reveal it, and put it in my hand. So we're going to go get Hings. They go get each other.
What is this nonsense?
They both have a crazy ability where when he reaps or fights, give a +1 power counter to everything between him and her. When she reaps, you get to draw a card for everything between her and him. Don't allow it.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
I will be allowing that, ultimately. No, I will not.
We're going to play CR Officer Hawkins. Deploy. He can go anywhere, but then it says gain 1 amber for each of his non-Star Alliance neighbors. If you left 2 of these things, he was going to go in the middle. We were going to get 2 amber. It was going to be beautiful. Anyways.
But instead, Alex Becker wrecked you.
Comm Officer Hings getting played. And then I will pass to you.
Terrence saying, yeah, but who is here for Monster Apocalypse? Terrence has been subscribed for 15 years.
the only more OG than a Monster Apocalypse Terrence would be a Spoils player.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to set YouTube to be like, you can only comment you've been subscribed for 15 years.
For Terrence levels of subscribers. In fact, can we set it where only Terrence can comment?
Yeah, there you go. Jordan Hightower, watching unboxing videos of First Ed Game of Thrones totally changed my game. That's awesome, Jordan. Jean-Philippe saying the Netrunner pack reviews is how I got to know Team Covenant. Same with Kevin Lambert. I've seen you around for a long time, Kevin. Keyforge asking, what do you think of crowdfunded approach to Keyforge moving forward? Does it help you as a business? No, strictly it does not. How do you support the game and function as a business? We'll see. We did a whole podcast on it.
I mean, yeah, last week's Covenant cast was about that, and I've had more thoughts since then. But short version, if the game doesn't exist unless this happens,
great,
then it's a necessary step, right? But in general, going direct to player is not better for retail, but
might be better for the game.
Might be better for the game. So
we'll just roll with all of it as we always have. Get wrecked if you're getting wrecked, and then harvest if it's harvest time. That's all you can do. Words from your friend. I'm gonna go Sanctum. And I'm going to think for a second before I actually do things, because I do think that's what Alex would want me to do. Okay.
Zach Armstrong. Oh, man. Kristen T. Petersen is coming to be interviewed on my podcast.
Is what I will say when he emails me back.
CBS Inc., you guys have a favorite house? I remember liking Shadows when Keyforge came out. I'm not sure about the other ones. I really liked. I like Shadow mechanically. I like Untamed thematically probably the most.
He's enraged.
I also really like the dinosaurs, of course. Sanctum School as well, but Untamed's probably my favorite. Just like generic house. Do you have a favorite house?
And it's got to be the fish people.
Unfathomable.
Yeah.
Thematically, but maybe not mechanically.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It is pretty fun to just like feel like I'm wrecking you all the time.
Yeah, sinking my ship.
Yeah.
I have so many cards that change the tide in my favor in this deck.
Yeah, well, that's not great news for me.
So many.
Yeah, because
every hand I draw is like two cards that change the tide.
One-Eyed Willa is 1 power away from being the worst unit in the game, unless the tide is high. With Skirmish and Elusive, it's very good. You know, because then you can survive and actually trigger the steal ability.
And get the steal, yeah.
Okay, so these two things are going to happen. And then this needs to happen. You've got 2 damage coming at me. Either one of these gets wrecked by that. We do know that. So that's something.
Bork, I really like this as well, back in the day. It's weird how just absolutely predictable who I like is. Like... Chris saying no love for logos. Honestly, it's in the same...
I love logos.
It's in the same category for me as like, it's not as bad, but as mechanologist and fab, I appreciate it. I respect it. But like technology and advanced and robots and stuff.
This is the best cleansing wave I've ever played in my life. Heal 1 damage from each creature. Gain 1 for each creature heal. That's two right there.
That could be a bomb card.
Yeah, it never is, though, because nobody leaves damaged creatures except you, I guess. Then we're going to play Heal or Harm.
I thought that said heal or ham.
Yeah, I did too. I almost said it out loud.
That's like a wrestling thing, though. Are you the heel or the ham? You know? Really, it's a baby face. But a ham, you know, you're being
You really
ham.
made a ham turn there, didn't
Yeah.
you? I got to watch wrestling in the hotel room this weekend while I was working.
Modern day wrestling?
Yeah.
How'd you feel about it? Was it what brand are we on?
There was the 2 Viking guys, WWE.
Okay.
There was the Viking brothers, and they were being really mean. And then they injured a guy.
Yeah, of course.
And then the injured guy came back and was like, I'm uninjured now and I'm mad. And his teammates had also presumably been injured or something. There was a whole kerfuffle. And then he came in the middle. They just like decimated 2 like Ric Flair looking like pretty boys. And then he came out of nowhere with a kendo stick and started bashing them. And then they came in, and then he fought him off and like dunked one, and everyone was really happy about it.
So the good guys were the non-Vikings or the Vikings?
The non-Vikings. The Vikings were definitely the heel. Yeah, they had no respect for the form. They were just like monsters.
Breaking things. Yeah.
That happened.
Nice.
And then there was a lot of women wrestling that was going on at the time, and I gotta be honest, I just don't get into that as much. I think, I don't know, it's supposed to hit a different part of your brain than it probably does me, but I wasn't there for the drama. I didn't know what was going on. But there was like a blitz match where they kept sending people in.
Like the, wasn't that like the Royal Rumble format?
Yeah, but it wasn't that. It was only ever one person in the ring. Whoever cleared, a new one comes in, and then one wins, a new one comes in.
It's almost like King of the Hill-ish.
Yeah. And Ronda Rousey, didn't she was
Ronda
MMA,
Rousey,
I think? Or I think she was MMA,
she was.
and then she was involved somehow.
Pivoted over to the wrestling.
I couldn't follow it, really. All right, heal or ham. We're going to ready and fight with a friendly creature. Hookmaster is going to fight C.R. Hawkins. He's going to take 1 because he has 1 armor.
You're really making use out of those bodies.
Yeah. Well, I can't reap, so what else am I supposed to do? And then we're going to play a Hammergram and deal 3 to this one. And stun it also.
Hings.
And then we'll play
monster.
a Gatekeeper and a General Xavier, or a General Salvador.
We're going to need to deal with this board at some point.
Well, yeah, I wish you would, because this is my least favorite thing about Keyforge is this exact thing that's happening. Yeah. So I'm glad we can see it. If you too get frustrated by large board states, SolForge Fusion could be a good option for you because it has lanes and it's very tidy, and we'll be playing that next. Okay, then we go up to 6.
You got 5 Ember over there, eh?
Yeah, I could have gone to 6. Maybe I should have. I don't know.
Oh, don't you see? We're going to go with Sanctum. I'm going to play Light Everlasting. And it says, play a Sanctum creature from your discard pile anywhere in your battle line.
What? Oh, this looks important. It's got a ton of text on it. Oh my gosh.
We're going to play a Survivor here.
That's hilarious. Yes, Jay, there are 5 lanes. Did I say 4? Can you do something about this, please?
Yeah, I'm going to clean up some.
Thanks. Fudgeinator loves large board states, and that's a good differentiating factor for someone considering both of these games. If you love large board states, bring it on. There are some people who absolutely adore it.
It's true.
Those people.
I'm going to play Marshall Ewer. Oh, wait. Do I want to play him or do I want to save him?
Save a card in Keyforge?
Yeah, there's a reason.
What is wrong with you?
You'll see why. I'm going to play Gatekeeper here. All right. Then I'm going to do some party tricks. Let's, I'm going to attack with Barrister Hoya on this one-eyed Willa. Gain this hammer back.
You did it.
I have 1 armor, so I'll take 1. Then I'm going to play Heal or Harm. I'm going to ready and fight here. No. I'm ready and fight
you have a
here.
healer ham too. Nice.
Yeah, ready and fight here.
Okay.
He's going to... Let me just borrow this real quick.
I gotta have more tide raising cards. Maybe I should just take the chains.
He's going to attack this thing. No, that's only got 1 health. That seems like a waste. I still only got 5
2
ability.
technically, you know.
Yeah. I'm going to get rid of that.
This thing?
Yeah, and I'll take 3 back.
You might have some of those Healy cards.
Alright, then I will pass to you and I'll say check, because if you don't do anything, I will forge a key.
Fudgeinator's commentary is absolutely hilarious right now.
Oh my goodness, I keep drawing cards that I love.
You're the card that I love. Who? I have all of these conditional cards that aren't very good right now. I'm inviting disaster.
This card is crazy. Why do you exist?
It's just, that's just so good for you.
You gonna chain up? That's last game. I feel like I was doing the same thing where like I waited for a while and then I eventually just took the chains because I realized I didn't have anything to raise the tide.
It's chain time. Yeah, you might be right. It's a tough one. That is a tough one. Look at all your little, you could choose your little sanctums. How many, can you give me a rough estimation of the percentage of cards in your discard pile by house?
My God.
Like what?
30% are sanctum. 70. I can't be right.
Wait a minute. Then you're definitely playing the.
It's like 22% sanctum. Like 60% Star Alliance. and like 20-something% unfathomable.
So you're likely to play Unfathomable, given you have 3 on the board that are synced. You probably have a good Unfathomable hand. Am I wrong? I mean,
the odds are most high. That's what I was looking at your discard pile for. But I also have 3 sanctioned things on the board, right? So
depending on... Oh, this is a reap ability? Oh, that's so bad.
Fudginator. I did that too. I thought it was a play ability and it was a fight ability.
Did you have the Wicolia?
No.
Oh, well, don't worry about it then.
Wicolia.
Wicola.
Oh.
Let's use Shadow. I'm going to play Early Birds.
Kevin Lambert, can you send me an Excel sheet for your discard pile, please and thanks? Fudginator says, Steven asking a completely innocuous question here for a friend.
Early Birds, Game 2, Alpha, got to play it as your first action. Ready, each Shadows card. That could be relevant in certain decks. I'm sure it would be amazing.
But also have a huge downside if your opponent's on Shadows.
For me, it's a 2. Yeah, it's true. For me, it's a 2 Amber card.
Well, I guess they should be ready anyway.
They should be ready anyway. That's kind of thing. So there's... Anyway.
Cab L, question for Zach and Steven. Were y'all large Magic players? Do you think these newer card games are an improvement to Magic mechanics? Never, ever. I was not allowed in my house when I was a kid. I played Pokemon. For some reason that was allowed. And never really got into Magic. Played everything else. But I have played Magic. I am familiar with the mechanics. And yes, I think the vast majority of modern card games mechanically are better than Magic, in my opinion.
Does skirmish apply both directions? Like anytime there's a battle? Or is it just when you're attacking?
Just when you're attacking.
You sure?
Yeah.
Right, like, are you like Zach sure, or are you actually sure?
I'm 100% sure.
Okay, then I definitely am not going to double check.
Weird. Here, look it up.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're probably right. I didn't find it, but...
skirmish.
I got to tell you, the most interesting thing Magic has done for me, I want to play some of that Jumpstart.
When a creature with the skirmish keyword is used to fight, it takes no damage from the opposing creature when the damage from the fight is dealt. This applies only to damage that would be dealt by the opposing creature's power, not by damage dealt by keywords or other abilities.
Okay, when it's used to fight. And if it's defending, it's not being used to fight.
Right, and elusive is only when defending.
Ergo. Okay.
Ergo. All the money, dude.
Scowly Caper goes to your battle line.
Don't like this.
And it will kill one of its neighbors at the end of every turn. At the end of my turn. Or your turn. Now it's your turn.
Yeah,
right?
it's my turn.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to do this, just so we remember.
Okay.
I guess I don't have Shadows as a house, though, so we will never forget.
We won't forget. Then, since we're here, we're going to do a fight here. We're going to take 1. And we're going to steal 1 from you. And you're going to take 0.
Yeah, he got that big armor.
Check. And then we're going to just be dangerous. Can you play a card without resolving its text if you want to? I don't think you can, right? You have to if you can?
Yeah, I think so. You do as much of it as you can. There's some rule about it.
So I'll play Mug, move an amber from a creature to your pool. There's no amber on the board.
Yeah.
But I will gain an amber.
Yeah.
I hope you don't have one of those cards, man. It's likely. I mean, you've got this thing, you know, Gatekeeper. If you can replay that somehow, it's a real bummer. And then I'll play a hand cannon on the Gatekeeper. It gains me an amber. And then it says it gains skirmish and fight. Move 1 from the creature this creature fights to your pool.
Keyforge asking if I had a bedroom under the stairs. Like Harry Potter. No, that was not allowed in my house either, so I wouldn't get that reference.
All right, over to you.
So I need to fight with this creeper guy.
Yeah,
he's got skirmish.
You can kill him on this. Oh yeah,
no, he's got skirmish.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a Seeker Needle, man. That's my favorite one.
Oh, and interestingly,
you remember Seeker Needle? How awesome that was. That 1 damage.
Oh yeah. Interestingly, too, I can only attack with him if I declare Shadows.
No, he belongs to all houses.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I can attack with him, but he just doesn't die.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Well, he's going to kill that big thing in the middle.
Yeah. That is happening. But you could also technically declare Shadows next turn, yeah.
What's this do?
we got to be sure to timestamp this one too, you know, so we can go between Keyforge and SolForge. It's skirmish and move an amber. Move 1 amber from the creature this creature fights to my pool, so I can take one from capturer, basically.
Okay. Well, let's declare Starlands, shall we? I think it's the right choice. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you, but sure.
So we're gonna play. Ooh, that's the right call.
Don't take all my ambies.
We're gonna go Starlands, and the Scowly Caper is going to skirmish this big thing.
Take 6.
It doesn't.
Skirmish ability says no.
Oh yeah, someone's saying I forge.
No, you only had 5.
1 less.
Oh my gosh, what the heck is that?
The tide is high.
What the heck is that? All right, well,
Stream can help both of us.
I'll get 3 chains. How about that? What if we did that?
Ooh,
Yeah, because we got to account for the fact that I didn't pay attention.
How are you gonna put one of those cards back though? Do you remember what you had in your hand before you drew? We'll Brando it.
Yeah.
And then you actually lose one of those chains immediately. A lot of hoopla for irrelevant. All right. So he attacks. Remove that. Great. Then check this out. We're gonna play Selective Preservation. Choose a creature of each power value. So I'm gonna choose here.
And me too?
Choose a creature of each power value. So here's my 1.
What do you mean each?
Here's my 2.
Okay, this guy stays alive.
Here's my 3.
Okay.
There are no 4s.
Right here.
You choose a 4. I'll choose this 5.
Okay.
Anything I did not choose gets destroyed.
Ah.
So that gets destroyed. This gets destroyed.
I get it.
And then, Common Officer Gross is going to attack here.
You got it.
I'll take 2. And you're looking up. Then we're going to play one of the craziest cards in all Keyforge. Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
The Book of IQ. It's an artifact. It has an action.
You got it.
I can't use it on the first turn. It comes in exhausted. The action says, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a non-Starlands card,
which is likely now.
Its house becomes your active house. Otherwise, end your turn. So when you go Starlands,
that's so good.
Last thing you do is you do this.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
You reveal the top card, and then that becomes
Where's
your active
my
house.
artifact removal?
Yeah. Then I will pass to you.
Yeah. Okay. That was good. I was very inspired by that. Now I'll forge a key. Oh, that's just right. That's just you. Yeah. It's the only way I can win.
Cheating?
Yeah. As Jacob said, again, second time. Okie dokie. Well, I'm gonna guess that the best thing for me to do is to go with Untamed, Unforged, Unfathomable.
Yeah, go on.
All right, and in so doing, we will do some things. We're going to start by playing an Effigy of Melaruk.
Don't like this.
Check this out. After an enemy creature reaps, put a counter on this. If there are 6 or more counters on this, move it to a flank of your battle line as a creature with 100 power and 100 armor.
I remember that thing. We had that in the co-op thing we did. Remember that?
I do remember
That's how we won the game.
Yeah, it's totally busted in PvP.
Yeah. So don't reap. And or have something that destroys it. Like destroy a creature, poisonous, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very susceptible to death.
Still cool.
Let's play a brain drain. We're going to gain an amber, and we're going to look at your hand and choose a card, put it on the top of your deck.
Hold on.
Can you just choose me the best one?
Nope. There you go.
Also, can you tell me what's in your discard pile, card by card? Okay, what are we looking at? We're looking at Untamed. Looks good for you, but if you choose, deal 3 to each flank creature.
Come on, these are fresh decks.
Okay, that's not going to mean much for you. Play, fight, raise the tide. That's pretty good. So then you get a little forge, you get a little reap. And hook match. If the tide is high, your opponent loses 2. Currently not the case. Poison, Horde, Sinon. Discard the top 10 cards of my deck.
Then you lose. Just kidding.
Thalassophobia, fear of the sea, the ocean. And then raise the tide. Okay, so no matter.
Like I said, I have raised the tide.
No, what's happening? The tide's getting risen. So if I drop that out, this I don't care about. I'll take a reset. Yeah, that's fine.
It's just an amber.
It's just an amber. This poison guy is annoying, but not yet. And then fight, tide is high. That's a good little combo there, yeah. Do, 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 do. I feel like you're gonna go Sanctum though if I take that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take that guy and put that on top there. Okay. This searches from your deck
when I play them,
and it's not discard pile as well.
Huh?
No reason. All right, let's go Bubbles. We're gonna put an enemy creature on top of the deck. It's gonna be Sir Bevor, or this guy, the Joya rather, Barrister Hoya. And then we'll play a Wicolia. Keys cost +2 during your opponent's next turn if I reap with it.
But you can't.
So
you have some cool creatures there.
I couldn't, but I popped that back to your hand, or back to your top of deck, so I can now reap. I'm gonna lose 1 chain. I'm gonna drop to 5. Big money, no whammies on that.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Star Alliance.
Really?
Yeah.
What happens? Oh, you know it's not a Star Alliance card.
Yeah, you put a Sanctum card on the top of my deck, so I'm gonna go Star Alliance first, and then we'll drift over into our Sanctum turn.
That's just a great answer to unfathomable things. Congratulations.
Oh man, it's so good.
So you get a free swing or a free reap if you want it.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna get a free swing. It's gonna be fun what we're about to do.
I totally believe you.
Yeah. This guy is gonna fight here, so they'll just clear each other.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna play Honor or Glory. I'm gonna do 3 damage to each flank creature.
For Honor and Glory.
Oh wait, hold on. I have to activate this first. I'm gonna reveal the top card of my deck.
Somehow it's a Star Alliance.
It's a Sanctum card, so we'll go Sanctum. So then I'll play the 3 damage each flank creature.
Yeah.
Honor and Glory.
So take 3 there and take 1 here.
Yeah.
Armor's cracked.
Yeah. Then I will play Marshal Ewer. When I play him, I raise the tide.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing. And then I will reap here.
Repair.
Then I'll pass, check, over to you.
Oof, that's a cool combo. Except you have all this stupid armor.
I reaped, by the way.
Reaped what you sewed.
That triggers, right?
Yeah. Thanks. You're a real board state buddy.
My creature was on the Frank Chris, but he has 5 armor, so the damage just soaked.
Omni means I can play it forever.
In any house.
Interesting. Interesting. And if the tide is high, you can forge at 5.
Would you like to eat getting more chains?
I don't want more chains.
Isn't it crazy? Anytime he fights, I get to raise the tide.
Yes.
Sick.
Yes. We don't like it. What am I supposed to do?
You're way ahead of me.
I know I'm way ahead. I should get more ahead.
Just start reaping and playing creatures.
Start racing. Okay, shadows. Shadow. Bom, bom, bom. Ring of Invisibility. Skirmish and Elusive onto that guy.
Love that card.
Yeah, came on. Check.
Oof. Oof.
Check.
He's racing so quickly.
Check. I'm invisible. I'm like Frodo from that Ring movie. Play a Seeker Needle. Play a Trickle Down Theory. When I play it, I raise the tide. That's pretty funny, isn't it?
Oh, so good.
Has an Omni ability. Gain 1 if your opponent has 6 or more. Amber.
That's awesome.
Can't use it now, but you know, summoning sickness, etc. But
so good.
And then I'll just be discarding Easy Marks. Exalt each damaged enemy creature. Don't need it. There are none. Can't do anything with it. Last chain is gone. Draw up to 5 and.
Whiz pow. We're forging.
Wow.
Did you get a cool card? It seemed like.
Nope.
We're going to play with Unfathomable. Just gonna play Portal. Let's get this tide back. Cause why not? We're gonna play Thalassophobia. Gain an Amber. You discard the top 10 cards.
I got 2 bubbles in here.
It's a bubble party.
Creature gains. Your opponent may spin Amber on this creature as if it were in their pool. Mole.
You can attach it to one of a mole.
That's the idea. So I attach it to you. It's just like Simone and Pumbaa. Simba and Timon. What's their name?
Timon and Pumbaa.
Timon and Pumbaa. What a wonderful phrase.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a mole. See, he's dressed up.
Oh, he looks like it's like a Princess Mononoke vibe. So creepy when they're dressed in those weird like pig sacks. You seen that movie, right? Mononoke? Slithering around on the
I don't forge. The tide was not in my favor. So I just have 6 Amber.
You always forge at 6.
Well, and mine, it cost me 1 extra here. When the tide is low, it costs me 1 extra.
Oh my gosh, you're about to get
6.
wrecked.
What's the thing that has if I have too much Amber? Yeah, game 1 is fine. So I have 8. And hope you can't penalize me. Then we're gonna play a Hookmaster, and a Horrid Sign-In. And then I'll pass back to you.
Dude, that could get really out of control if you can raise the tide, which we know you can a million ways. Hey, look at me. I get to forge.
Yeah, it is forging time. And this is now in my favor because I played that card. And
it's forging time.
Wow.
Did you reap at all? You didn't do any reaping?
No. Mm-mm. Wow.
If the tide is high, your opponent loses 2 is a problem, actually.
If they start fighting, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah. We need to kill. I need them dead.
I agree.
Okay. But... is now the play. What I actually think I have to do is I've got to go 6, 7. I have to make a noble sacrifice of myself. Ooh. But I can't kill General Salvador. That's, you know what? That's very interesting. That's bad for me. Okay. We need to do some cleanup. we need to do some cleanup. So if we go here, skirmish. Oh, right. These guys can't. They can't fight. Okay, right. Let's do that. Oof. This is where Keyforge gets kind of hard. All right, I'm going to play Unfathomable. I'm going to go here. Play Capture 2.
Photo creator.
Look at this photo creator. You can go anywhere, or does he have to do it?
He has to capture it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see what you did.
What was that? Why did the other card not work that way?
It's just because of the way the capture symbol reads.
Okay. Bubbles will fight Hookmaster that isn't taunted.
Okay.
Over there. Clear out a little bit of... I'm a little bit Lexus. Done.
You want to use Trickle Down?
Yes. I don't know. Do you have Steely stuff? It's almost like not worth it, you know?
I do not currently. I don't have shadows either, so
sure we'll do it. And then I think I'm gonna lose it to Hookmaster, but here we go, right? Yeah. And then we'll drop to 6 for the first time in the game.
Okay.
Okay. Don't feel like I'm winning somehow, but
so I do forge a key for
I am.
You are really far ahead. Painfully far.
But look at the board. I mean, you're getting the board is under control. It's a good back and forth. A little wobbly bobbly.
You do have some issues.
Some issues?
Punch through.
That's right, one sock on it. La 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 la. If this experience looks fun, Keyforge may be the right game for you.
I'm gonna go with
subscribe today.
Unfathomable. Let me actually just count.
Or I guess go to GameFound is what you should do. What should people do? Give Christian money or us money?
Well, that's just up to them.
If you're into Keyforge right now, the best thing is to go to GameFound and back it, right? Or just click the sign up button. Put your email in the field. I don't know, right? And then subscribe later, maybe, depending on how they're distributing Winds of Exchange. We don't know. See a retailer pickle. Don't know how the product's going to release. But if everybody backs it on GameFound, they sure don't need Winds of Exchange from us.
That's true.
Why are we even doing this stream? We're giving them free marketing and we're going to make no money. More than most retailers, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Jim, I'd like some of that next Keyforge set. Can you get that for me? Yeah, sure thing. Okay, I'll do it. All right, thanks. Bye. 50% margin.
This is a pickle. I know you were going on a rant there. But it's a genuine pickle. That's just max value, honestly. Okay. We're going to go with Star Alliance. We're going to play Lieutenant Krakar.
I hope you hit Star Alliance on the top of your deck. What are the odds? Did you
0%.
Calculate it?
There's no Star Alliance.
Oh my gosh.
It's just 50-50 for the other.
Good.
So I'll play Book of IQ. We're going to reveal Unfathomable. It's exactly what I wanted.
Oh, great. Lovely.
So we're going to go Unfathomable. That's what I was counting. And there's 10 of each. There's two left of each in here. Unfathomable.
I love the look of this photo creator. I like nets. I just like the idea of nets.
We're going to go Hookmaster.
This guy's elusive. In case you're getting up to no good.
I am getting up to no good. What kind of garbage is this? Alright, Hookmaster will fight the Raider. I have 1 armor, so I'll cancel 1 damage. Nuke you. Take that.
It's a come from behind victory, man. I'm telling you.
And then,
look at the board.
I'm gonna play Tamwa of the Glow. Love this card. Comes in exhausted, but If I replay this, I can exhaust a creature, and if the tide is high, I can draw a card for each exhausted enemy creature.
Wow.
Watch yourself.
How did enemy? Oh, they are at my turn. How are they exhausted on your turn?
That would be an interesting solution.
Do you have something that exhausts everything?
Perhaps. I'm gonna reap here, so you get another token on your thing.
Oh, it's coming.
I'm gonna play Rakuzel's Chant. Gains me an amber, and it says exhaust a creature, so I'll exhaust your creature. That'd be one thing. If the tide is high, exhaust each creature instead.
Oh.
They're all ready.
They'll come back. Right.
Hypothetically, though, if I could exhaust and then ready this, like if I exhausted all your creatures and then ready this, I could maybe draw a lot of cards. Just saying.
That would be sick.
All right, end of my turn. I'll pass a check because the tide is high, so I only need 5 to forge.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
What's amazing, too, is that I have 1 card left in my deck.
You know what it is?
I'm about to.
You know you're going to use that dumb Star Alliance card. It's busted. It's not fair. I'm a key ahead. Okay. You have the guy that raises the... Yeah.
Okay.
And man, you just did it, didn't you? You just had to exhaust him. You just had to exhaust
Your
him.
dude? Yeah. Here we are.
Wait, you got taunters everywhere?
Taunt.
What's the last card in your deck?
You don't know because you don't know what's in my hand.
All right.
You know it's not
Almost
Star Alliance.
Almost got him.
Yeah, I almost told you.
Let's go Sanctum. We're going to play a Larry of the Lake. Also our lead developer.
Larry of the Lake. He's close to a lake.
It's kind of nice he's hanging out with the unfathomable. He's got, he's of the lake. He fits in there. Then we'll play a Taxing Journey. Gain an amber. A friendly creature captures 1. Each of its neighbors that shares a house with it also captures 1. So each of these will capture 1.
Boo.
Then we're going to pay 3 chains to raise the tide.
You keep making these. It's like leveraging debt. It puts you in a powerful position now, but you're going to have to pay it.
But this is why. We're going to gain 3 from Strange Ordination.
Holy smokereenies.
And then we're going to play another one. Gain 3 more Strange Ordination.
And capture 1. Wow.
Check.
Wowie.
Mommy, wow.
Wow.
It's strange indeed.
I better have an answer.
Hey, isn't this crazy too? This is unfathomable putting a crown on a Sanctum. It's like the way the deck has played.
It's
is
crazy. You have 2 of those in the deck? Get out of here.
Yeah, right there. And then I'll pass it over to you and drop to 5.
What am I supposed to do about that?
I guess steal it or lose. And if this looks like fun, Keyforge may be the game for you.
3, 6, 8. Oh. We're going to go with Star Alliance.
Chris Govert said, I held them for ages, and he's right. Waiting for the perfect moment. You better get to it. Gotta take 3, boy.
He's going to punch Larry. I'll take 3. Then we'll do Book of IQ.
Hold on a second. He has 2 armor.
I punch for 5.
Nice.
Book of IQ. It's a Sanctum card. So we'll switch to Sanctum. How about that?
Yeah.
Before I do that, let me actually just I want to play Larry of the Lake.
You have your own Larry.
I'm going to play Marshall Ewer.
Oh, you're playing it off the screen now. See, this has just gotten out of control.
It's fine. The game's about to be over. Marshall Ewer. So my Larry of the Lake gives me +2 armor. So I'm going to punch there. because it doesn't resolve. Does elusive mean that it just doesn't resolve the first time?
It doesn't resolve.
All right, back this up. This guy's going to punch him.
Okay, you did it.
Then this guy's going to punch him for 4.
Okay.
And I've got 4 armor, so I don't take anything back.
You got 4 armor. Where'd you get that from?
Well, 2 here and 2 from Larry.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Larry the cable guy there.
Yeah.
And I take 2.
Mm-hmm. Then we're going to play on this side. Cerberus de Hoya. Actually, before I play, let's do that differently.
How is this? You're really exploring an exciting board state to lose on, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not winning, but I'm losing fashionably. So this is here. And then I'm going to play Bever here. And then Barrister Hoya here. And I'm going to pass to you. And
you got one of those no amber lot of dudes deck.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It almost tripped over, though. If I don't put you in check here, I think that is, you're just totally...
You have board clears in your deck, though. That's
I do. I don't have one in hand, though.
Yeah, it's like, look at this behemoth.
That's a lot to deal with. All right, there's Keyforge.
There it is, indeed.
AC and Sand, fight effects do still trigger. I didn't think they did on the elusive. Hold on. Let's look at our... Would it have saved the game for you?
No.
It's not even on here. What are these just random keywords on the back of this?
I don't know.
Quick reference for a series of random keywords.
Perhaps it's unique keywords. They randomly are, inserted in there. All right.
All right, so Keyforge. If anybody has any questions in the live stream, happy to answer those. We're going to start getting ready for the SolForge thing. I'm going to pop up to the main camera. So we've got a lot of Keyforge fans in here, I think. And glad to see you all here. Hope you stick around and watch SolForge as well in case anybody's curious about that. We'll be giving that a taste. But Keyforge remains an incredibly good game. Super fun. I love that it's a race.
Keywords related to what's in your deck.
Oh. But elusive was in my deck. The little ring gave him elusive.
Maybe you had the wrong card.
No, I looked at both of them. It's not on either of them.
Yeah, it's not.
Another Ghost Galaxy improvement waiting to happen. What's your favorite part about Keyforge, everybody? To our Keyforge friends out there, what's your favorite part about it? What do you love most about it? Or read some of those comments on stream so that anyone making the decision, or at least considering both games, not that you have to choose one or the other, because you can certainly play both.
Now, we have more SolForge decks on the way, but we're going to use the same ones.
Yeah.
Production reasons.
Keep it cool.
Whatever, I think it was green, purple last time was just gross.
Just boo gat.
So we should not do that.
Okay. So this, we know that purple is strong.
Green is strong too.
Green is strong too. Okay,
I think they should not be on the same team.
Let's do a little green, blue, purple, red.
Right,
that was our original rematch. All right, so here's the deal with SolForge. Let's. I'm going to be collecting some comments about Keyforge. And then we'll move right into SolForge here. Here are some things about Keyforge that you might want to know. Peter Hibbling says, Keyforge, so good. You just want it like a Google review. I ate at a pizza place in Kansas City. It was like 10:30, so like it was not
PM?
Yeah, it was like a late night pizza place, not exactly like fine dining. I've never been to a more average place in my life. 3 stars down the line.
Yeah, just totally fine.
Food was 3. Service was 3. Hummus was 3.
You got hummus at a pizza place.
Yeah, but I don't think they were making their own. They served it with little flatbread triangles, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think they were making it in-house. And if a pizza restaurant is making any dough object, not making any dough object that they're serving, they're doing it wrong. You got to work it out, put it in the little pizza oven, and make it fresh.
I was curious. I was like, hummus is not a dough item.
No, it's not.
Took me a minute.
They weren't making that in-house either. I can definitely tell that. Went home, put some lemon juice in it, put some little coriander, a little salt, a little pepper. We made it all the way home with it. A little olive oil, stirred that puppy up, and it was 1,000 times better. Yeah. Sealed is another thing. Love heading out to Sealed Night just with my tokens. That is one of the great things about these games, all told. You go in, you got a set of tokens. If a retailer out there is interested in making money and serving their local community with a new offering that isn't one of the big three. That can be a lot of fun. You go in, you get 1 pack of Keyforge deck, brand new. Everybody opens their decks. Boom, Swiss tournament. Let's go, let's try it out. J.R. Rightly said the no mana cost but can only choose 1 house per turn mechanic is the favorite there. Ryan Forland, favorite part is that I can enjoy others playing it without diving in. Well, that's nice, and that is actually a strong point of the game if you can follow along and enjoy it. That usually is a sign of good design. ACN 1580 says Keyforge Sealed is just absurdly fun. Crack open 2 decks, have a good time, and it's relatively easy to teach. I would say criminally underutilized. That. Micah Rushing, the cost, just buy a deck, jump in, and play.
Yeah, huge. Tim
Carroll saying something that maybe is not exclusive to Keyforge, but the cards fit nicely into the human hand.
Okay.
ACN saying the Everyman card game is the Hufflepuff of CCGs.
Oh my goodness.
Charles Franklin says, I like that Keyforge is objective based instead of kill your opponent. Charles, I agree with you entirely. And for some reason, I'm not nervous when playing Keyforge like I was with Netrunner, LOL, although I really love Netrunner. You know, I feel that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same buzz of like the anxiety that comes with very strict gameplay, you know?
I think one of the actual key downsides for me of Keyforge, it's very minor, but I started feeling it the more I played, was that oftentimes you win the game on your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Which is to say that like you had the win on the table.
And it's like, can you do anything?
And there's a tense moment where you're like, can I do anything? But it really means that there's a lot of games where like I look at my hand, I know I can't win.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just have this like deflating.
Just, okay, over. You got me.
Like in SolForge, you usually kind of like make the finale play.
Yeah.
And then it resolves and it's like over and it's like, that moment happened. So that I remember that being like a...
It kind of goes out with a whimper.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, okay. I can't stop you, so you win.
Notable. Richard Bear Gardner saying, as much as I'm hugely into the SolForge hype enough to pay UK shipping to grab it from TC, well, you're just a lovely person, Richard. That's like a lot of money. I'll definitely play some Keyforge from time to time. So again, you can do both. Beagle Deuce saying, I mean, the best thing for me is that it comes with decks that you get to explore over time. That's very nice. Terrence saying the downsides. Seal the big board states, no deck mods, so the deck is what it is without alternate formats. A lot of dead decks in the collection. I was hoping Terrence would also give us upsides, but he did not. Captain Gale, I love that all decks are playable. Even weaker decks can still be played casually and be lots of fun. And also you see pretty much all of your deck in each game. Notably good, especially playing Sorcery where you might see 20%. Cab L says, I love having options and not having dead turns in Keyforge. Very cheap to get into. Chris Orlock saying, good Keyforge plays that shift the game sticks with you. So far I haven't experienced that with SolForge Fusion. I need to unpack that, Chris. Oh, good Keyforge plays that shift the game stick with you. So big moments where all of a sudden the board state change, you did a big board wipe or something like that. Listic, my favorite thing about Keyforge is the formats. I love you can use the change to balance decks out.
That was very clever.
Very clever. Terrence is in on the upsides, and we dive in to SolForge Fusion.
Let's fuse some cards.
Fuse some decks. Okay, so here are the what a deck looks like. This is one half deck. I can take this half deck, and I can put it with any half deck in the world. And I've chosen to put it with this one from my collection. Well, in the world that I own, I should say.
Like Keyforge, they have names. So like this red deck that I have, the Forgeborn here is Sunder. You have a main character. I'm like Keyforge. You are the main character in Keyforge.
One of your main characters from one of the half decks. You choose one.
Yeah, so mine is Sunder. And then they have unique names, right? So the deck here is the Circular Eluding Princesses. And I'm playing her, the character.
I'm going to choose Oros. For my Forge one, I haven't played with Oros yet. I'm going to set my other Forgeborn aside. And then you can see I've got gray cards, I've got blue cards, and I've got gold cards. And these are all the same 10 cards, but these are level 1 versions of those cards, 2 versions of those cards, 3 versions of those cards. So I'm going to start by taking the level 1 cards from both decks, pushing them together, and this is going to be the deck that I start with. Then I'm going to take my level 2s, I put them in the same pile, and I'm going to take my level 3s in the same pile. And then when I go to upgrade a card from level 1 to level 2, I'm going to go get it from my level 2 deck, put it in my discard pile. So I'm going to set these aside over here. And as that happens, you can see an example of this in, let's say a card like Primal Surge, for instance. If we can pull up, one of the things is actually I can't. Let me see if I can see the pops.
Oh man,
yeah, there they are.
I just saw the video. I grabbed a deck and moved, and it looks totally different.
It's higher fidelity.
That is crazy.
Watching a British sitcom.
It was a little unnerving.
Yeah. So you see how Primal Surge, over time, as you level this card up, it gets stronger and stronger. And this is what you're going to be doing throughout the game. You're going to be playing for the current board state and trying to stay alive or push the tempo. But you're also going to be thinking, what am I leveling up that's going to make a big impact in a kind of a combination at the end of the game? So one thing you can do is you can look through your level 3 cards. And let's say, okay, well, Primal Surge gives a creature +8 and 8 armor, and it's free if I've gained health. So I might look and say, oh, well, look. Here's Toxic Spores. That's going to manipulate some health on creatures. So that's exciting.
You're looking for life gain cards, right?
Refreshing Slayer. If this replaced a creature, you gain 16 health. So I might think, oh my gosh, Primal Surge plus Refreshing Slayer is going to be an in-game combo that's going to bring a 10-16 into the game. And then it's going to allow me to play a Primal Surge for free at a +8/8. Now it's an 18, a lot of armor. Maybe this is going to end the game for me.
Beefy.
So these are examples of what you can do. And even Botanimate, one of the great cards, gains me 2 life. So maybe Primal Surge Botanimate is when I want to start leveling up. But for now, you know what? We're just going to shuffle it up and think about it.
ACN, you are counting correctly. So there are 10 cards from each deck of level 1, 2, and 3, and they're all the same cards, just different stages. And your deck is 20 cards, usually. So you have 10 level 1s from 2 different decks. And then as we play cards, they'll upgrade into our discard pile, and the level 1s will get banished. And then over time, as we cycle through our decks, more and more of our cards will be upgraded, more powerful.
It's going.
Some cool comments coming in. Let me find it. Where did it go?
We're using our Majestic boards. We designed compatible with Flesh and Blood. They're good at tracking all kinds of, numbers. You can put, these are designed to fit the Chessex 12mm dice.
The old D6s.
So if you just ever need to track up to 10 dice worth of anything, it's really nice.
Marissa
Great design on
McConnell
those.
Saying, I'm very excited to play. I got the game for my Gen Con buddy this afternoon, hoping to get it played tomorrow at lunch.
Yes.
Let us know how it goes. Marissa.
Yes. Yeah, I love it.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna pronounce the name La Arcante.
L'Arcante
Says this Sunday there was a great Keyforge event in Rome. Here in Italy, the community still exists and it's beautifully active.
That's great. That's so great.
All right.
Look at Z-Storm, your old buddy Zach there, huh?
Yep, the old Rune Buddy. That could be a podcast, Rune Buddies.
Can you guys exist in a world where you can't just play Rune Blade decks that are busted?
Oh, they're not busted.
Only been at the top of the charts.
Here's the question. Would you rather play against a Rune Blade or an Oldham?
Neither.
I'll let you pick.
As I said in the Discord, I only want tier 2 decks to exist.
Cowell, you cannot deck build proper, but you do choose 2 unique decks and forge them together.
So in that way, you do have control over the cards in your deck.
Even Steven?
Less anyway. Yeah, yes, yeah.
It was on, so I've got the forge. I go first.
Mr. Zod himself.
Chris asking how random the character cards are. So it's really cool. On the character cards, so we'll pull Sunder up. You'll see level 2, 3, and 4 abilities, and you basically can use that ability once during that cycle of your deck. So we're on cycle 1, no ability. But each Forgeborn has a set of unique abilities that only show up on their cards. And then they can show up at any level of the card, and they get obviously more powerful the later they show up on like the what stage you can play them or what cycle. So I want to say there are 24 different combinations of abilities that can exist. I don't know what that means in terms of total unique abilities per Forgeborn. So that's a lot of different ways the same character would show up. Okay. I'm going to play in the middle here. I'm first player. Don't want to do that.
Steel Slime said, played SolForge at Gen Con this weekend, really enjoyed it. This will be our middle point. Ding! And if you're the inactive player, your cards come in at the back. Ding!
I see something.
And if you're the active player, they come in at the front. Ding! Front things attack to your opponent, back things can block.
Alright, we're going to do an odd play. I'm going to play a Dark Heart Sorcerer. He's a defender, so he comes in the back row.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to slide this back a pinch. When I play a spell, deal 2 damage to a player and gain 2 life.
Okay.
So I play him, so I'm going to go get the level 2 version of him.
You're going to be that guy today.
And put it in my discard pile. And then when the level 1 leaves play, it'll actually go to my banish zone. Yeah, apparently there's 24 configurations of each Forgeborn, and then the first set, there's 2 Forgeborns for each faction. So when you open up a faction deck, you could technically have one of 48 Forgeborn options. And then when you bring 2 decks, you actually only choose one of the Forgeborn to play in the game, which is also another cool factor.
That's a 8.
He's a beefy boy.
What's that about?
Welcome back to Zach's Beefy Boys.
Man, the decisions are so hard.
Cabo, it doesn't feel bulky at all.
These decisions are hard. Okay, so we have to make decisions. Play a minion, do a thing. No, not gonna matter. Can't do that.
JR, minions are tokens that you put into play in various ways, but they don't go in your deck.
Okay. Got it. When you play a minion. And didn't I have a card that plays minions? Yes, the Summoning Council. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to see it early on. Let's go. Steel Eye Researcher over here in opposite your Dark Heart Sorcerer. Let's throw that guy into my discard pile.
Okay.
And so I think we're established.
Zephyr Angel saying, I like that almost every decision in SolForge feels weighty. That's important.
Yeah, it is. It actually is a big deal. It's
Spirit Leash.
Of course.
Give a creature -4/-4.
Such a perfect card for this guy.
You may give a spirit +2/+2. I don't have a spirit, so I'll give that guy -4/-4.
He zeros.
Yeah. He goes away, right? When he gets to 0
Oh,
life.
right. Yeah, dead. Yeah.
When I play a spell, deal 2 damage to you, and then I gain 2 life.
Yeah.
And I will get the upgraded Spirit Leash.
One of these combo wombos.
Sergio asking how you triggered hero abilities. So right now we're on the first cycle of the deck. A cycle is one turn where I have the Forge. Steven gets a turn, I get a turn. In cycle, we shuffle our discard piles with the rest of our deck. And on the second cycle, I can use my first ability. It has the 2 next to it. Third cycle is the third ability, etc. And then you can just use them on your turn during that cycle. And you can only use them once, and you have to use it during that cycle. Otherwise, you don't get to use it.
It's so tough.
Aaron Clark saying, I prefer the Keyforge art, but I am coming around on the SolForge art.
I've got to make a play for late game here. This guy can't exist is the problem. He's got a permanent ability on the board that has too much value.
Terrence saying, if every decision is weighty, are there recovery options if you mess up an early turn? I felt like most of the time we have ways to get back in.
It's kind of hard to mess up.
Yeah.
Honestly, you can just like sequence strong in Keyforge like I did all the time.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, if I'd have done that first, it would have been better. This, you're always getting benefit. Like Hibernating Hunter isn't the wrong thing to do right now, but I don't know if it's the right thing to do. But I know that hibernating keyword is one that you want to play because you get better over time. Okay, I'm playing it opposing your sorcerer there. When I deploy it, I can have another one of my creatures battle its opposing, but I didn't have another. You can see how that would have been good, though.
Yeah, if you'd
Dark
have...
Heart Sorcerer 4, and then 4 at the end of the turn, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, so we use these D10s. People are talking about this in the chat. I've found tracking these stats on the D10s not to be a problem at all. And given the resolution of things, so at the end of the turn, here's what happens.
5 in the discard?
I'm in the back, so I'm a defender with this Dark Heart Sorcerer, which means I don't attack. You're in the back, so you don't attack either, so nothing happens. Then we discard our hands. We draw up to 5.
And they've got nice playmats with lanes and stuff if you're into that.
The Forge switches to him. And then now Steven gets to go. You basically get 2 decisions per turn, usually.
Okay, so I know I want that. Perfect. That's exactly what I needed. That's exactly what I needed. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, there's so many good ideas here. Okay. Man, you know what SolForge always feels like? It feels like you have often 4 really good options and you can only do 2 of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have the one tech thing that's like, not now, but like I want to play all 4 cards in my hand.
I think as a comparison to Keyforge, right? In Keyforge, I would choose a color and play everything from that color. And this one, you usually only need to play 2 of your 5 cards. So that does make the choice more critical. It also means that you can have tech cards that you don't, like, if 2 or 3 cards in your deck are situationally useful, that's actually kind of fine because your whole hand is not just like in Keyforge, sometimes I have 4 cards I can play, but they don't really do anything.
Yep. I am not doing well at playing for the future already.
I saw that Dark Heart Sorcerer, and I was like, I need to get this out.
I'm already in a problematic situation.
Yeah, you're about to go for
I'm fighting against my worst self here.
Have you seen level 3 Dark Heart Sorcerer? Deals 5 when you play a spell.
We don't like that
and gains 5. It's a 10 damage swing.
We don't like that at all.
Cabo, there is no cost. You just get 2 actions per turn, and that is the cost. That's the weight of your decisions.
All right, I'll do... Let's put it out in left field here. I'll do an Arrogant Tactician out here. It's an 8/4. Nothing else fancy. And then I'll go get my level 2 Tactician. I'm not building like I should be, Zach. I'm already disappointed.
We're going to play Necrovive. Each enemy player destroys one of their creatures.
It's a good one.
Totally, Kevin. So the thing I really like about SolForge is that your upgrades mean your deck is very different in subsequent turns. It can be worth it to play a bad choice to have access to an upgraded version. And then this will trigger 2 damage to you, 2 life for me. The value.
All right. Sonic Burst. Enemy creatures with 3 attack or less are gone.
Oh no. Well, I'm glad you didn't play that first. What's your health over here? 4?
Yeah, I was hoping maybe you'd play another weakling that I could get both with. But...
I'm going to play a Portal Shade. I see. I went straight for Spell Town.
I went too
meta?
Hard. Yeah.
Alright, we played the Portal Shade and then go to the end of the round.
Yeah.
I'm dealing 5, you're dealing 8.
Yeah.
They go. Discard. This switches. Draw back up.
Don't like that round at all. That is bad. Bad, bad, bad. And then it's you on the Surge.
Well. going to play a Combat Wars Stoker.
That's
right
a
there.
good one.
In the middle, he's just a beefy boy. Really not that beefy, he's just a big attack. White Fur and Blue Flame. Also on the, because there's level 1, 2, and 3 of these cards, the text on the bottom is usually a haiku. Did you hear that Tempest, I think, is the red faction won the big SolForge event, or the story event? They have control of the SolForge. I don't know what it means, but I like it.
I don't know what it means. Yeah, it sounds like L5R, right? Can you hand me that stack of stuff?
This stuff?
Yeah.
I saw an alt art Forge token that was like red themed, based on the story choice, which is cool. Phoenix flying around there. Right. Sergio, the end game is literally just take your opponent to 0 life.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna send him here. Combat Druid, level 1. Go get the other ones. 3/3, and I play a Wisp mini when I deploy him.
Where's it going?
It's going here.
Okay. I'm gonna play a Raging Lasher. When I deploy, I'll do 3 damage to a creature, so I'll get rid of the Wisp.
Answers. Well, I can't just take 8.
I concur with your conclusion.
But what can I do?
Nothing to do with all your power.
I want that guy in a different place now. Just going wrong.
Dice Matrix, the highest life total I've seen so far is like 60, but there are definitely decks that I think could get higher, hypothetically.
Okay. Fine. I hate to do this. Just waste it. Ugh. I can't make these kinds of trades. This is not acceptable.
I like forcing you into trades you just
it's just
don't want to make.
You had the answer to everything this game.
Yeah.
It's been so painful
For you.
It's like if he just doesn't do this,
and then I do
he
it.
does it.
Yeah. It's a real bummer, dude.
It's real drag, man. All right. We take 8. We take 8 to do that. Or we do tradesies, and I take 3 and have lost every turn cycle. Let's try to get some board out there. Armored Scavenger coming in, and then we can resolve.
You defeat here.
Yeah, I take 1 because of the Amwa, so I get 3. And then I take 8, and then we move up.
And I take 3? Oh, I don't take 3. Oof. All right, end of cycle. This flips. At this stage, count just to make sure you have 15 in the discard pile. And one thing is, you'd cycle when you usually have 5 cards left. So it's nice because you see most of your cards, but you cannot count on seeing every card every cycle.
Yeah, it's like the 2 cards I was wanting to build around are at the bottom. So now we got to do.
You got to figure it out.
A different. We've had to go on a different plan today.
And what's your level 2 ability? So now we're in second cycle, so we can both
use
use
your creatures plus 3 health. You gain 3 life.
Nice.
Growth aura.
Mine is I can play 2 spell sprite minions. So they're 1 attack, 4 life, but every time I play a spell, they get 2 life.
Yeah.
Or 2 attack.
It's a spelly deck.
5th grade spelling bee champion.
Kevin Lambert, this is so correct. And I've seen the last 5 cards. Were you reading that earlier?
I didn't, but I was mentioning that fact.
It's an inspired design choice for making each game feel different. Definitely. Let's see. I'm first player.
Yeah.
All right, bun. I need value. Value, value, value. You want it. You want it to have it. Let's play Energy Prison on Mr. Warstoker there. -7 attack. Upgrade a card in my hand. Discard it. I'm going to upgrade the Charge Plated Justicar.
The thing that gets Bugatti at the end.
Yeah. I always get sidetracked by it.
My Warstoker is so weak now.
It goes from a 1/4 to a 3/4
to a million.
Here's a Dr. Frankenbaum. 28-25. So Charge Bladed Justicar. Keep an eye on it.
Yeah, you gotta have one of those Destroy a Creature cards.
Yeah.
Alright. Mine, I'm gonna play a level 2 Dark Heart Sorcerer.
Oh, come on. The worst. Just the worst.
I'm just here to make your life miserable. Yeah, I agree with that. Kevin's saying if you saw every card every cycle, you would always play to a certain strategy. But because you can't count on that. Like I have a Stout Shamble I didn't see in the first cycle. Which the whole deck can be based on that
you have
card.
that and the Dark Heart Sorcerer. God.
Yeah, and
what's
Dr.
wrong with that
Frankenbaum.
deck? That deck it's baller.
Yeah. It's
As the kids say, of course.
the bomb. The Frankenbaum.
As the kids still say the bomb, right?
The bomb. Yeah, I'm sure that's what all the kids are saying. They're saying it on TikTok right now.
Right now.
Repeatedly.
It's the bomb. Fine. I will make the short-sided play, okay?
We have made him give in.
I'll just do it. I'm over it.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Let's play a Stampeding Polymorpher over here. It's got Breakthrough and a bunch of stuff. And then I'm going to use my level X ability. Everyone's going to gain 3 life.
I don't think it's a bad time to do that.
Yeah. And then I'm going to gain 3.
It definitely changes my plan a little.
This game is fascinating, man. Yeah. It hits a totally different. I think I have more strategic decisions to make during games of SolForge Fusion than Keyforge. I feel like Keyforge is a lot more tactical, sequencing.
I agree with that.
What am I playing for right now? SolForge has excruciating moments of like, if I play this now, my level 3 cards are going to be so bad, and I've got to decide if I want late game or now.
I feel that, honestly.
Cab, yes, their damage is sticky, so it permanently reduces their life total forever. Dice Matrix, is there a mechanism you'd like to see added to SolForge? Perhaps a card trigger allowing to switch to your other hero? It's so tight. I don't play SolForge and feel like it's lacking something. Do you ever feel that way? I've been really impressed by it.
All right, I'm going to trigger my ability. We're going to get 2 spell sprites.
I wish you'd have done that first.
And I'm going to play it. Why is that?
Because then my Breakthrough Polymorpher man would have replaced one with a Wisp minion.
Yeah.
Not that that's probably better for me, but...
Yeah. I think I'm going to go here. Yeah, we'll go here and here.
This is great synergy. When you got the Sorcerer and you got the Spell Sprite ability. Sorcerer? On the red, on Sunder. Like this red-purple pairing is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
That's a really good level 1 ability for that.
Then I'm going to play Group Meal. I can play a Mindless Zombie.
Goodness gracious.
Sure will. And then technically I could upgrade a level 1 card in my discard pile for each zombie I had in play. But I don't have any. But I am playing a spell, so they're going to both get +2 attack.
And would I lose 3?
Yeah, and I gain 3.
From Le Sorcerer. It's horrible. I'm taking my ball and going home.
What have you done to me? I need to upgrade this. Okay. And then that'll be the end of the turn. So
let's resolve combat.
I gain 3 first. Let's do that.
You haven't done that yet? You've got like 20 billion health.
Yeah.
7. I take 3. You take 7.
Yeah, down to 3.
Doot.
I deal 3, so 1 past your armor.
Yeah.
And then I take 2.
Yeah.
I deal 1 to you.
Taken.
I deal 3 to you. You deal 3 to me.
That's right.
3. And then this guy doesn't attack because he came in my back row.
That's right. Yeah.
End of the turn. Discard. These slide up.
Got 5ers. Make sure you got 5ers.
5ers.
Always make sure you got 5 cards there.
Yeah. Draw 5.
We got ourselves a little. You can't even play anything. You fool.
Oh, I can play. I can upgrade. Wow.
Am I passive now?
That's over to me.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's play Conflagrate. It's 2 damage to up to 2 different creatures and/or players, increased by 1 for each mage that I have. So I have 1 mage in play, so it's gonna be 3 damage to 2 different things. So we'll go 3 here, 3 here. I played a spell, so these will go to 5, and then you will take 3, and I will gain 3. Your snort laugh was hilarious.
This is an absolute train wreck. Just getting pounded.
These decks are good together.
Yeah, real good. Real good, buddy.
Oh man, I needed some revenge after that Keyforge
turn,
moment.
It's an answer to everything I want to do. It's like playing a constructed game.
I feel like every card in my hand is like devastatingly good against you right now.
Cool.
It's crazy.
Cool. Play more spells.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. It is the plan. It's just crazy value.
I can't cover all this garbage up.
Blank. Close game. Could go either way. Oh my goodness.
We hate it.
Chat, you're the best.
We hate it.
For jokes like this and more, join our Discord channel. Let's get these a little space.
It's like you have this penchant for just drawing the stupid engine cards, and then just there they are.
Mutton Chop says, love the new fidelity of the video.
Great.
So much clearer. But it does make the light bounce off your faces more.
Cool.
So then it said we should probably hire a makeup artist.
A little shiny. I just can't bring myself to do it.
I put makeup on every morning.
Uh-huh.
I do the least amount of things I can do before leaving.
Yeah.
That's why I make my oats once a week. I hate little things, little tasks.
The little things.
You ready to enter a world of pain, little Larry?
I mean, it's already there, man. It's already there. Just trying to live, dude.
What up, Shadow? How's your game, the feeling for the game SolForge evolve as you played? So, we were sent a pretty early copy of the game. And the first version that I played had significantly more free cards, so cards you can use without using your action. And inevitably, those games were won by whoever had usually the most free cards, because they're just playing way more cards than your opponent. But it was still fun. And honestly, like I played 2 or 3 times and was like, that's pretty good. It's one of those games that took me more games to really get into, and I think it's because at first it's easy to dismiss the simplicity for lack of depth, and then the more you play, the more you realize what you can be doing to be good. Dice Matrix. That's a 9th level top decker. Necro Tester. I swear every stream I watch you guys play, Zach's always pointing exactly what he needs to make Steven facepalm the entire video.
That's my entire childhood and life. 6/5 will take profit. Activate it. I get 3 armor. Because you played a spell like a fool.
Fudgenator's saying, I'm always impressed by how well trimmed Steven's beard outline is. And that's an even higher quality to witness.
Thanks. There's that. I know. You probably have like a choose a mage, turn it into a wisp, and then have it attack its owner.
You've got 3 armor?
Yeah.
What's the activate ability?
If a spell was played this turn, give this 3 armor.
You did that.
You did that.
I bet you just did it.
I just played this, yeah.
Tim Aiken, oh man, finally caught up live and going from 1.75 speed to 1 time speed. And wow, that was a slowdown in the middle of Zach's sentence. Which one's more valuable?
To who?
To me.
A Dark Heart Sorcerer pretty valuable.
It is, yeah.
I'd play a spell if I could.
I'm going to, yeah. We're going to play Necrovive. Each enemy player destroys one of their creatures.
All right, this one.
If you had more creatures than me, this would be free.
Well, thank goodness I'm losing.
So this goes up to 7. This goes up to 7. I'll trigger this ability, so I gain 3. You lose 3. Had to get more dice out.
Cool, man. Cool.
Lenny, we needed more dice.
Cool.
Let's get the upgraded Necrovive real quick. So I gotta follow the steps. And then over to you.
All right, we'll play a level 1 Botanimate. Choose a level 1 creature. This one, it's going to become a wisp, and I gain 2 life.
Lame.
Staying in the game, baby. Staying
Look at these
in the game.
Kickstarter wisps. They're little seahorses.
And then I've got a free action, Primal Surge. It's free because I've gained life this turn. Give a creature +2 and 2 armor. So 8 and 2 armor. And die, you foul sorcerer.
All right, damage time.
Yeah.
I die. He's defender. He can't even be in the front row.
Yeah. Cool.
2, 3,
10, 13.
13, yeah.
3, 6 makes 9. Okay, take 4 more.
Kevin's saying that was my conclusion as well. At first blush, it seems okay, but on subsequent plays, I was really impressed with how differently games developed when I upgraded different cards for the same dice.
We felt the same.
Discard. This goes over to you.
Check for 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See 8 in my. Oh, here they are. 9, 10. Okay.
I got 10.
Got it. All right, we need a board wipe, ladies and gentlemen.
You do.
I get the first play?
Mm-hmm. It's funny. Oh, you've got a problem.
Oh, no.
I duped you.
Oh, my gosh.
I think I messed you up, so I'm going to take it.
No,
so,
don't take it.
The thing is, I had this in the front row.
Oh, you did?
So if I made a mistake by putting it here. It should never have been there. So your whole turn was structured around the fact that you were going to kill this when you played it. There's no way.
Okay.
That's just like too much value.
We can accept it.
Messed up.
We can accept it.
But man, that would be so good for me. You gotta ask yourself, Stoneblade, tournament document, what happens there? Even if we get to this point and I mistakenly put it in the front row, you do your whole turn assuming it's in the front row.
DQ and I win.
I think that's what it's gotta be. Anyways.
Or do we both have the obligation,
onus?
to...
Yeah, that's exactly what
I did have an answer to it in this hand, at least, so that's not terribly bad.
Yeah.
Not as bad as it could have been.
We're not dead yet.
You just... Shadow. Zach does love moving creatures to the front row that don't belong there.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just is it just happens.
Do we need to get some D50s or some D100s for your life total?
Maybe we might get there. I might switch to digital.
I have an old D50. I think I have an old D35 from back in the day. Yeah.
Cosnar, what do you enjoy more so far, Keyforge or SolForge? That's a good question. I've had a lot of fun playing SolForge, but I think realistically, that's kind of why. Honestly, this is what was behind. We did the podcast talking about unique deck games, future unique deck games part 2,
whatever that was.
Recently, it was not the most recent one, but the one before that, I think. But the reason that I was talking about the position of either game and how I would position it if I were in charge of either brand is I was saying I think SolForge can really push for the organized play tournament reality, because I think the player choice of deck and then the strategic skill needed to play is actually very, very high in this game. Not that they both can't have organized play in tournaments, but the Keyforge to me hits a very fun, almost more, I hate the word casual, but just more laid back, because the theme is a little less serious. The game itself is just crazier. There's these big swings. You have these moments where if you just can't steal Amber or stop them from a key, you can't do anything about it. This is like a grindier game of exchanges that lead to a big, exciting moment, but
it hits you in that brain.
Yeah,
the brain.
So this is more the style I generally lean towards, but from a casual hangout, have fun perspective, Keyforge is super fun.
Armored Scavenger level 2 is a 5/11 with 4 armor. We gotta clean up on aisle 5 here. Clean up on aisle 5.
Lockwork saying, oof, just saw the news from the podcast discussion channel on our Discord that I haven't seen yet, that Christian T. Petersen said there won't be a retailer tier for the Keyforge crowdfunding campaign.
I'll be totally honest. I don't know why any Kickstarter would have a retail tier.
Yeah.
That's not something I would ever have expected. The whole retail chain is crazy. Come to the Discord and go to the podcast discussion. Yeah, like you're talking about Clockwork Gadget. These smaller things that we're discussing about retail and Keyforge are indicative of much bigger things when it comes to what does it mean for a retailer to support a game like Keyforge.
Yeah.
What does support even mean?
I'm going to play an Undeady. He is aggressive. I have a creature with less life than it's printed with, so it's free.
Well, that's very convenient for you, isn't it?
Yeah, so let's just get a free creature. This next one's going to be even funnier. You ready for this?
Yeah.
You're not ready. Let's play a level 2 Spirit Leash. Give a creature -6/-6. So I'm going to give this thing -6/-6.
5 health.
Yeah, this goes up to 9.
And none.
This goes up to 4.
Attack.
Oh, that's not a spirit thing anymore.
What? It's just one spirit, right?
Then it says, it's just the spirit, yeah.
The spell sprite ability, right?
I may give a spirit +3/+3. And this Wisp Fleet gave me as a spirit. So we're going to make it a 5/5.
Mm-hmm.
And then upgrade my Spirit Leash. And then over to you.
Sonic Burst. Destroy everything with 5 attack or less.
Oh my goodness. What madness is this? 5 or less? That's insanity.
It's the only thing giving me joy today. That moment.
You know what? You needed it. I think you needed it more than I needed it.
We're having fun together. That's what games are all about.
All right.
Now, don't do anything else. Just pass, would you?
No. I'm going to play a Necrotic Creeper over here. And when I deploy it, you either take 5 damage to the teeth, or you destroy one of your creatures.
So I can take 5 damage, or I can take 9 damage, or I can lose 8 damage.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be taking 5 to the face. I'm like that Costco hot dog, man. It's all about the value.
All right. Then
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 in the pocket.
Resolution, hold on. I nuke you here.
Yeah, dead.
I do 2 to you. You destroy me.
That's right.
When this is destroyed, I can play a mindless zombie minion.
And he's got like 3. You played a bunch of spells, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
did too. I played mine as well. Yeah. So he has 3 armor. How much did you do? 2?
2.
Yeah, so.
We'll play a mindless zombie here.
When it dies, will you just go away?
Mm-mm.
What is wrong with you? Why is this happening? Bah humbug, etc. And all of these. Oh, this deck. Come on, deck. It's not me. It's you.
Undeading.
Okay.
It can't possibly be me.
It could possibly be me.
I agree. You're infallible.
Keyforge saying, whoever that is, isn't that funny? Just the game is saying, not sure I'm a fan of housekeeping with SolForge.
So
it got super natural for us.
Tim's saying the housekeeping is the party's iffy on. The thing to me about it is the complexity of resolution is so simple, like the actual gameplay, that like in Keyforge there were moments even in the game today where I was like starting to not even want to process what was going on fully. I never have that here. So like the work it's requiring is like executional, not like brain. All your brain space in this one is just strictly on making the best choice.
Yeah, see, yeah, exactly. I think on the whole, the processing power is probably less for SolForge.
Yeah. Just a little bit upkeep.
Dice Matrix, summon the outsider, go for the dome. Yeah, I would love to. So I need to make up a gap of about 50 health. And you know what? We're gonna do it.
What am I at? 51. I'm at 63 currently.
We're gonna do it though. We're certain of that.
Ooh, what's your level 3 ability? Mine is when I play a spell this turn, deal 5 damage to a creature or player.
Where you are a synergistic masterpiece.
How are you a SolForge god?
What even is this? You sure you didn't build this from scratch?
I didn't. I just put these 2 dice together.
You just threw them together.
I think last time I played with Cersei, which is strictly worse.
1,000 worse.
Yeah.
That's so crazy that those decks work so well together.
Yeah.
Mine is +2/+2 for each spell in my banish pile.
You've been building to that?
Yeah, which is currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So currently +10/+10.
Oh yeah, the zombie has to go in this lane because of the Necrotic Creeper. Good catch. All right, well. This is silly. All right, I'm going to play my level 3 Dark Heart Sorcerer. I've had it in first hand every cycle.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to murder you.
There's more. I'm going to trigger my ability. When I play a spell this turn, deal 5 damage to a creature or player.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to play a Necrovive level 3. It's free. Each player destroys one of their creatures.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah. You as well, though, right? You got to destroy one?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll destroy him. Then, if I played a spell... So this triggers. You take 5, I gain 5.
15, so I'll go down to 10.
Then my ability triggers, so you will take 5 more.
Done. This is a train wreck I have not seen yet.
Interesting. Oh, and this gets +2 attack. Too many things to keep track of.
I blame you for all of this. I don't even think it's random unique deck's fault. I think it's your fault explicitly.
My apologies.
So, theoretically, if you play a spell, I would die.
You would just strictly die, yeah. Hopefully I don't have one.
So, there's no need worrying about this guy because I'm going to die either way.
Oh, wait.
If you have a spell or not.
Oh, Necrovive says each enemy player, so my Brute's still out here.
Oh.
Yeah, reading. Luckily, I have a stream with me.
Nice.
Richard, yeah, this was on the knife's edge. Oh, man. Jay saying it's not Zach's fault, he's just better at fusing decks than you. All skill, baby.
I don't have any life.
Man, this has just been a boozler.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm boozling from coast to coast.
It's like you took my cards and then wrote your own cards.
That
were exactly what you needed.
Oh, it hurts how funny that is. Hey, I don't have another spell. I'll tell you that. Spoiler. You're not going to die in this very second. But you better be able to deal with all my stuff.
All right, so Dark Heart Sorcerer just has to get out of the game. We've got to waste it, basically.
What up, Art?
You have so much life.
$68. Someone was asking earlier what's the highest I've ever seen. It's this. And there's not even any green in my deck. Daniel Edvelson asking about the run rule here.
What's up, Daniel? Hey, he painted some of our Skychair minis. Okay. Hold on now. Let's think about it. We're going to have to get real lucky here. All right, we're going to play a Stampeding Polymorpher. It's got Breakthrough. And you may replace an enemy level 1 creature with a Wisp minion. So I'm going to play this somewhere else. I just want to show you the card, you know.
The Bruno saying, Soul Crush Forge. Keyforge, this isn't even my final form. Fudginator Zach having no mercy today in SolForge. I wanted to see if I could just skunk you. No help lost.
All right, here we go. Let's put it here in the pocket.
Can you imagine if I win this game with 0 damage?
Replace an enemy 1 creature with a Wisp minion.
I like the Wisp.
Yeah, somehow you have cards in your deck that work with the Wisp.
Yeah.
That I'm actively putting there.
I want to go and buff the spirit that you gave me. Thank you very much.
Okay. Done?
Okay. Mine?
Where else can you have this much fun, though, you know?
I'm having a good time. We're going to play the Venerable Slime. You don't want to be playing them, but sometimes you do. Because it's what you've got. And I'm not going to just immediately kill you.
All right, for my final form, I will be playing my level 3 Sonic Burst. We're going to kill all enemies of 8 power or less.
8?
That's the number.
8? That's my whole board.
That's correct.
That's exactly what you needed.
That's right, baby. Now...
We're forging now.
You've used your ability. I'm going to be able to give a creature a lot of health. I'm going to move up here.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong? I'm in the pocket. I'm in the pocket. Feeling good.
I believe.
Feeling good. We're on a strong 9-3 breakthrough. We love it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Doom, 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 doom.
Oh, you're first, right?
Oh, right.
Daniel asking which game we prefer if we had to choose. I don't know that there's a choice, honestly. I think in a few different layers. It depends on the flavor you like better. It depends on the style of game you like better. I do think, as Steven was saying earlier, Keyforge is more tactical. Kind of extensive board states and granular little decisions turn to turn.
There's a lot of sequencing in Keyforge.
Yeah.
If you reap this way and then raise the tide over there, and then you can put like a puzzle together.
Totally. And this is way more strategic, less tactical. You're making decisions for your end game. You're trying to set up an end game your opponent can't deal with. And it just depends on what style you like better. I know theme is going to matter a lot as well. So I recommend both trying them. They're super, super inexpensive to try. And I think that they're 100% both worth giving a shot if you like card games, especially if you like card games and you don't really have the time or desire to get deep into deck building or want to, depends on your budget and stuff. But I think it's a really affordable game to get into, both of them.
I'm going to go beside the middle here, and I'm going to go a 6/6 Steel Eye Researcher level 2. When you play a minion, he gets +3/+3.
Steely Dan?
Steely Dan himself, yeah. Okay. Go get level 3. Play that funky music. Steely. Richard. Steven's ramping like Hulk Hogan. The harder you beat down, the wilder Steven Mania will run. Alex Becker just came back. This game does not seem close.
We're going to play a level 2 Portal Shape.
Do you want to give one of my creatures +8?
Not really. Not particularly. What I do want to do, though, is play an aggressive creature next and then give it +8 on my turn. And that way, you just lose.
I hope you can't do that.
I don't know, man. That seems cool.
I guess I should know, right? By now.
Well, I'll tell you if there's any aggressive in my discard pile. Oh, there's an Undeady. He's aggressive. Let's see if there's any more aggressive in here. Raging Lasher. He's aggressive.
That is impressive.
Yeah. And truth be told, you haven't even seen this one, but there's a Fleet Ice Crusher in here too. That's also aggressive. There's 3 aggressive creatures in this deck.
So chances are not 0.
They're greater than 0, yeah.
Brent saying, to be noted, Zach and Steven are playing out of the same booster. In the real world, Steven would have more options. This would not be a blowout. I do agree with that.
Yeah, totally.
Like, this may be the best pairing in that booster box. Although the other one's really good too.
The green-purple.
I think that box is fire.
Yeah, I think the green and the purple decks are... And they're honestly, they're all good. Just these particular pairings have been very strong.
The kids say fire, right?
Yeah, fire.
They do say it still?
I mean, I don't know. A lot of my nieces and nephews are at that phase where, like...
You're saying things ironically, and you don't know if they're cool or just ironic?
Yeah, and then they're around you, and, like, they know you're kind of not young anymore. So, like...
Yeah. They say, like, word,
yeah,
uncle.
That's so wizard. Uncle. Yeah.
We're going to play Botanimate. I'm going to choose a level 2 enemy creature, replace it with a Wisp. And then I'm going to gain 2 life. Clawing myself back into reasonability.
I did, just so we're all aware, I had an aggressive creature. I was ready to pounce.
And then I'm going to trigger my Oros ability. And I'm going to give myself plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to give myself plus 14 to Mr. Stampede. So we're going to go 10. We're going to go 3 and bump this up to a 10.
What ability is this? Middle one?
Yeah, that's my thing. And then this guy is going to go into 17. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Who's laughing now? Taking 21. Unless you have a singular card that says turn one of your opponent's creatures into, Stardust or whatever, which,
What, this is 23?
Yeah. When asking for... I've got a card that says choose a 23 attack creature. I would go home. I would just get in my truck and go home.
Oh, you're at 7 life?
Yeah.
I had not one, but I had 2 aggressive creatures.
What's your level 3? Okay, you don't get an immediate kill me there.
Well, it'll be nice. It'll be nice.
I'm glad you can worry about the narrative of the game as a whole instead of fighting for your survival.
So, like, the thing is, if this happens, I'll be 1 life less than I started the game with.
That's true.
And my goal at this point was just to be at or above the life that I started with. So, like,
I'm glad you have a secondary win con here.
Yeah, it's really... So, just to let you know what I'm thinking about doing, just because it's fun. I have this level 3 Spirit Leash, which I can give a creature -10/-10. So I give him down to 7/13.
Yeah.
And then give a Spirit +5/+5.
That's totally... You should do that.
So then I'm at 7/7, so I actually kill you. But you break through and you still do... Then I'm, whatever. Then I take the 6.
Damage, yeah, I do some damage.
But instead, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to play an Undeady. He's aggressive.
He's 8?
The level 2, yeah.
What is this madness? Wait, no, he comes in the back. Oh, no, he's aggressive. Oh,
level
my
3
gosh.
Yeah.
You did it.
But let's resolve it. So you take 8 and go to 0. I take 6. Look, I take 6.
But let's resolve it. You take 8 and go to 0.
Minus my 2. So 21.
Yeah.
12, 14, 7 more. And then obviously I win. But here's the crazy thing.
You take 8 and go to 0.
Like this, these go away, whatever. Then we get our 5.
Yeah, let's see what my next hand would have been.
Like the wild part to me is if you had 8 more health right now.
I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot, actually.
This might run over me. Like that's
what I was. Mania running wild on that one.
Yes, I literally can't deal with it
because I can give him another +5/+5.
I don't have a destruction thing here.
I'm gonna have him battle another creature.
Like
that's actually pretty solid.
So if you had just been able to conserve life until you got to that moment,
yeah.
I have to have a destroy this thing creature.
I could take a rematch on that. Like, I think I could get there. Okay, so at the end of the game, here's what we do. You separate out your onesies and your twosies and your threesies. This is what I do, at least. You can figure out a different way to do this.
I just literally separate by color. So like the red and the purple cards?
Yeah, that's what I'm... Oh, I do the opposite.
Yeah, you also... So I kept my red and purple cards separate over here. But...
Strictly worse,
I think you can go either way. The same amount of steps, right? Like if I'm looking to upgrade a purple card, I just grab my purple stack.
Yeah. You go through 20 cards either way. Yeah.
So I have purple and red, and then I stack the purple and reds back, and then you can tell the border of the level 1, 2, and 3 stuff. They're different colors. It's kind of bronze, bluish, silver, and gold. So it takes pretty quick, and then you're back to a fully separated deck.
I also like, what's good? This is actually weirdly notable. After a game, you immediately have something to do that isn't listening to your opponent talk about how they shouldn't have lost. They they can go on about it, and you just actually have something to do that isn't just oh, okay, well, I've gotta I don't know how to stop talking to you now. Because I could be I was one turn away. If you just hadn't had that card, I would have gotten you. And you're yeah. As you're sorting your cards out, it's nice.
Then you move along.
These are different games, man.
Totally different,
Isn't
right?
it crazy how different they are, honestly?
Yeah, I will say one thing that I really love about when
we're done way faster, by the way. It was not even close.
I'll let you decide which method is better for sorting. People at home, but when Keyforge first came out, at the time I'd been playing Destiny, and then before that was all the LCGs. And so Keyforge, from a card game perspective, is significantly streamlined. It's not super complex, honestly. Yeah. You do get these board states sometimes that are kind of unwieldy. But since then, I've been playing, obviously there's Destiny, and then a little bit of Keyforge, and then Fab, really. And I don't know, this feels, I never get bogged down in it. And that's huge for me. That's why I like Fab so much.
Yeah.
Is that there's a lot of depth and nuance and choice, but it almost never gets bogged down. So I don't like Prism, in fact. It's like sometimes you get these board states.
The board state stuff.
Oh, this is just uncomfortable.
Yeah, Keyforge can get, I mean, any game that has a battle line or a board, if you will, that is unlimited, always runs the risk. Game of Thrones got there. L5R was, I think, it was lane based, but man, there was so much to get bogged down in an L5R. Netrunner was at its worst whenever the corp could expand indefinitely on remote servers. Yeah. It was horrible. That was the same problem. Netrunner is also problematic whenever the runner can just have 20 different things that all interact with stealth credits or whatever, and you're like, I don't know how this works. SolForge avoids all of that. Yeah. Which is really notable and really good. And the brain burn on a SolForge game and a Keyforge game are almost entirely different.
Totally.
And I would say, you know what's funny? That Keyforge game we played, in its system, was probably as much of a blowout as this one. Close to, right? It was like I was way ahead on keys and stuff. But it also felt lighter the whole time. I wasn't having to try to like dig out. You didn't feel like you were having to try to dig out of a situation. But a lot of that also has to do with the fact that a lot of Keyforge is, what is the deck going to give me in this hand? And then it's like, I pretty clearly have a best option. And then I get to play it. And then I get to see what you do. And there's less of that kind of long-term, 5 turns from now, by playing this creeper, I'm going to get a level 3 version, and that's going to turn this game around for me. So it's just, they just both hit really perfectly different places in your brain, in the game space.
I will say both, I think, do a really good job of, the better you know your deck, and it's important that this is true for a unique deck system, the better you know your deck, and how it wants to approach the end game is huge. Even in Keyforge, right? You have to know what your big moments are and how you're trying to set those up. I remember that. And like, you know, you can play to a style you like. So I don't like big boards. So I prefer decks that can clear the board.
Yeah.
Like have those little incremental exchanges and not get unruly. And you start, that's one of the things with Keyforge. You start understanding, for me to like a deck, I need these 3 things to happen.
Yeah, there's different axes.
I need a couple board clears. I need probably one card that like steals a massive, if they get way ahead on amber, like takes a lot of their amber. And then I need something that instant forges a key. Because sometimes the only way to buy back tempo is gain a bunch of amber, and then on the spot, you can somehow get a key made.
Like, as Jay's saying, hoarding those strange ordinations, like those that moment where it was +3 amber, win the game unless you do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are those big moments in Keyforge, and you can play to those. Like, I did hold those for a while to make that kind of a play.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's like you've got those 4 Sanctum cards that you're trying to like wait on, and then it's like 1 and 1. You're like, I can either do nothing here or just go ahead and make this play now. Yeah. And sometimes it does ask you to do that. Both games, all games are going to have moments like that. The cards are random, right? You're drawing random cards. You're going to have to make the best with what you have. I do feel like sometimes in Keyforge that is a bonus, where it really just drives the action. It makes you feel like you're solving the puzzle as best you can with everything available to you, and you leave that turn knowing I couldn't have made a better decision. I did exactly what was, and so if I lose because of this, that's not me, that's the deck. SolForge always instills a little bit of, if I had just taken that 14 damage and not played that weaker thing to block that damage, would I have played a stronger thing in the second cycle that would have switched over the game and the tempo? So there's pluses and minuses to that approach.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me, honestly, is when I get into a game, I really usually go in on it. And so regardless of mechanics and release schedules and organized play programs, the fact that you bring 2 decks, like you get that choice, and then you also have the Forgeborn choice once you're at the table, I think is a really big factor. Just because I do have so many Keyforge decks that just aren't playable. So I think that is one of the biggest innovations of this ecosystem that I just love that change.
And here's it seems obvious now that we're talking about it. We may have mentioned this on the cast, but if I'm going to choose one of these, it's going to be Keyforge for Sealed. It's so easy and it's so fun, and you open the pack, you play. I think SolForge is a stronger constructed game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because there's an element of construction to it, right? You choose the pair and you come into a big tournament.
I think mechanically it's also just less. It's more.
kind of streamlined for that.
The boundaries of the game are more. So from like rules questions and rules disputes to function of the game to the big moments, like you can get blown out, obviously. Like there's ways to be good at this and or just lose because that's how the decks function.
Or the players.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be skill. It could just be like we could play this 1,000 times and this pairing might win.
It might, yeah.
However many times.
Yeah, totally.
But just from a tournament, it's like Fab. Like the way it's structured is so good for tournaments. It's good for an app too. Same reason.
So good for digital.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It was a digital game.
Yeah. Not the Keyforge can't be tournament wise, but if it depends on what you're looking for. I also think both these phenomenal games for sealed period. Like I think you could, if you enjoy both, you could literally, assuming you have a local store that's doing it or somewhere to play. One. Yeah. Just like opening some decks and playing. That was my favorite way to play Keyforge. Just the exploration of having a new deck pair or a new deck in Keyforge and showing up to a Tuesday night and playing was super fun.
Yeah.
And really good players would sometimes get really good decks, and really good players would sometimes get really bad decks.
Yeah.
And that's really good for the not so good players. Sometimes a not so good player gets a great deck and they are boosted up a little bit, but then the good player comes down because they have a bad deck, and that's a good game. And sometimes it's the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Good player gets good deck, not so good player gets bad deck. Not getting out of that one.
It's great. So there's one objectively better game than another. Both of them are utilizing this model in unique ways. I hate to say it because it's just so on the nose, but they're very different. I would try both of them if possible, if you're like on the fence still after seeing this, and or potentially play both in a limited capacity, right? It could be one box of each every time a new release comes out. You get your 12 Keyforge decks? Is that right, in a box?
And a display?
Yeah. 12 Keyforge decks and then 16 SolForge decks? Yeah. Like, if that's on cycle, if I'm getting like one box of each every other month or so, that would be sick.
That's so much fantastic.
Content, yeah. So you can check it out. We have subscriptions for both of these games where you can do exactly that. You can just get a booster box plus any number up to 24 on the subscription. So if you're getting 24, well, God bless you. You can go to our website. You can subscribe there. We don't know how we'll handle Keyforge Winds of Exchange. Obviously, I think a lot of people who would subscribe are going to back that on GameFound. Run into that before with games launching. I've not run into it with a relaunch where there's an existing subscription with existing subscribers.
May end up skipping it.
Yeah, probably will skip it. That's just the reality of what crowdfunding does to retail, which is not, again, strictly wrong. It's bad for us, probably, but it's not wrong for Keyforge. Yeah. So if that's what needs to happen to make the game happen, then more power to Christian and the gang.
Keyforge, the account, username Keyforge, says, here's a question I never see answered. Would these games be more fun if you could just build your own decks? Does the unique deck actually make the game better? I think a unique deck pitch, or the reason for a unique deck to me, is twofold. One is the barrier to entry becomes phenomenally low. Like I was saying earlier, with Keyforge or with SolForge, you can walk in, you can order online, you can walk into a store, you can pay $10-15 and play the game at the same level anyone else who spent thousands of dollars or years playing this game in terms of collection has. You remove all the deck building, you remove all the complexity. That was one of the issues with the LCGs forever, is that you have to come in and spend $700 and then open all this stuff and try to build a 60-card deck out of this giant collection. The second thing is the variety in the game and the meta is, I think, going to be disproportionately wider in a unique deck game than in a constructed game. Look at Magic. Like, I have very little Magic experience, and I'm referencing it for some reason.
All the time.
But almost every game that I played competitively throughout the years, 2 to 5 decks are the meta decks typically. And if it's past that, then it's a special moment in most of those games. Like when I was playing Destiny, it was 2 or 3 decks all the time. You could run variations on those 2 or 3 decks, and there were some off-meta things being thrown. But you play in a tournament, you play in 8 rounds, 7 of those 8 rounds are going to go against one of those 2 or 3 decks. So with a game like this, one of the major upsides is that just cannot be the case. It strictly won't be the case. There's 15,000 cards in the first set of SolForge. Games are going to be different. They're going to feel different. And
I don't know. I'm trying to think of on that question as a whole. I don't know if there's anything mechanically happening in any of these games that would keep them from being as successful as an LCG or a TCG, or if you took Netrunner and made it unique, or if you took who knows what, force of will and made it unique. Like, I don't know if there's something mechanically that a game needs to have to make a unique format the right choice for it. I think the unique format is the right choice for a lot of players, no matter what the actual system is. But like, I think Keyforge, if it was like a constructed game with booster packs or what have you, I think the top decks in Keyforge, it would, at least in the design as it stands now, would get really awful. Like, it would be like gain 6, gain 6, gain 6, and then you would be like steel can't forge, and then we would go back and forth on this weird like technical thing.
So many of the design choices in both don't work in a constructed environment.
Yeah, like just the idea that I think SolForge, maybe I can make a more compelling this needs to be a unique game argument, just because they've done the pairings like they have. They've given their base units all these different adjectives, and you can't do a print run of 16 to 20,000 cards collated into booster packs or LCGs.
Impossible.
So that's just not a thing. So I think they've made the algorithm way wider, and it actually works because you see these units that you know over and over, but they're in different forms, which is actually plays in really cool. And the way that that leveling system can change the progression of these units on top of the uniqueness really just makes it feel like it's bursting with possibility and like you can't capture it all. But I don't know. I think the unique deck model is really strong. I don't know if it's tied to these mechanically, these games in any kind of meaningful way.
I don't necessarily know if the mechanics are as relevant as the development. So like there's the system and how the game functions, but there are so many cards that if you could pick 3 of even in Keyforge, in fact, there would be so many cards in Keyforge that you would never even see in a deck. Because these creatures are just strictly better creatures, or these steel effects are just strictly better steel effects. So you have a lot of granularity in the design that isn't really even achievable if you're just doing constructed.
Yeah, and like giving icons to other things, like that kind of stuff is what you need to lean into here.
And it's the same limited draft, right? Very similar realities, like where you just have to be playing suboptimal versions of cards, and it makes you figure out how to get value out of things that you normally would just write off, right? I think Bait and Switch was the card in Keyforge that was like the big steel card for a while, and like that would just be 3 of in every shadow player deck.
Yeah, right. And maybe every deck is a shadow deck
because it's that good.
Yeah, because it's that good.
But now you can kind of print it in a way that decks that have it are really good, but you might be taking a weaker deck to get that card. Kind of thing. I also think, I know in SolForge they're leaning more into the algorithmic borders to the deck construction. So they're trying to get the power level of decks. Keyforge, if the range of Keyforge good and bad decks was 1 to 10, I think SolForge is aiming like 4 to 7. So there's like a tighter gap in terms of, I know.
And the pairing goes to 10 or 1, basically, you know? Like,
like the pairing of the decks can go big, but each deck itself is essentially like it's tighter on the power level. And I mentioned it earlier, but in SolForge, because you don't play every card every turn, you can also have more fringe cards. And you could even, I don't know if they do it or not, but you could obviously identify the more specifically answer fringe type cards and make sure no deck has more than 2 of those in.
Yeah.
And so like, even if you have 2 decks that have 2 of those kind of cards in it, every hand, at least 1 card is like generically playable. You might have 4 very utility cards, but at that point, 1 of those situations should be on the board.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
that may have been baked in. Kevin was mentioning it. Yeah. So, I mean, SolForge was a constructed game, right? It was a digital constructed game. So those were its roots. It functioned great mechanically without the unique thing happening. So really, I feel like unique deck is a decision that happens before development of the game begins, and then you develop it into the pocket to utilize that unique deck framework and format, which makes a ton of sense. Same with an LCG, same with a TCG, right? What are my rarities? How am I going to design to it? So it's just kind of hard to think about whether or not they would be better off not unique or otherwise, because all we know is them developed this kind of way.
Yeah, and I do think
But I love the model. I love the unique deck stuff.
From
I'm a sealed player.
Like past the game itself is also like the organized play / event style. So Keyforge had the adaptive format, which I think is genius, where you play 1 game, then you literally swap decks, play again, and if you went 1-1, which means both players won with the same deck, you actually bid chains going into the 3rd game, best of 3, and whoever wins the bid goes back and forth. Who's willing to go higher gets to choose which deck they play, so they can choose the winning deck, of course, because it's presumably better. But then they start the game with a penalty, which are those chains, which we saw Steven.
It's a good system.
Yeah.
It's a little intimidating at first because it's like, what? How does this work now? But it really is good. Like, it really is a strong system.
It rewards because, like, the first game you're playing your deck, which you should be good with, and you're watching your opponent play theirs. So it rewards your ability to then play their deck if you can win that game. But then it also rewards you for having a deck that you can play with chains, or you know how to beat if your opponent has chains.
It can go deep.
Yeah. So anyways, same here. We're like, having unique units of decks like this means that you can do stuff. Like SolForge is doing some really clever stuff. Like, you can rank up your deck, and there's some events that you can't get into unless you have a deck of that rank. Yeah. Like, I think at the World Championship, if you have a gold deck, you get two buys.
Nice.
Like, you get in and you get buys in the first 2 rounds.
Cool.
So the more you can leverage the unique deck mattering as a unit is cool to me.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting, and across all these conversations, Jay Rutley saying essentially nobody talks about all the dead commons from every CCG that are unplayable, right? That nobody plays in the constructed environment. Yeah. Every one of these formats is producing unplayable cards in many times great quantities. The number of fab cards that don't get played, that you open a booster pack and you're not interested in anything but one of the slots in that pack, all of these card games are doing that. So at the very least, what Keyforge is able to do is give you an experience with a deck that might not be very good, that doesn't have to be the best deck, the highest level deck to give you fun.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can't open we have to do a sealed environment for Fab. We're opening 6 packs, and it's basically that is what's happening every time a Keyforge deck or 2 SolForge Fusion decks are getting smashed together. So you can have fun with the decks that aren't ideal. The only time it really gets in the way of itself is whenever you're trying to hold a big level tournament and saying the best deck's going to win. Is whenever everything else gets wasted at that point.
If you have 2 equally bad Keyforge decks, those are fun games.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think adding the cooperative mode is very important, because there are a lot of decks that I have that I think would actually be good in that environment. And there's certain cards, like in competitive Keyforge, you're only maximizing around how good are you at generating amber and creating keys, right? That's the win condition.
Yeah.
But you get PvE, you get cooperative, and suddenly you don't necessarily need deck that even makes amber. Maybe the problem is we need to deal with this giant enemy. Like, how do we actually handle that, right? So I think that is interesting. And then I think the other piece of Keyforge particularly is being able to, they had tons of formats. So they had the format where you
just got to use them.
Your opponent plays the deck you bring.
Yeah.
So you're trying to bring the worst deck you possibly can, and it gets down to those. If we both have really bad decks, like, here's where it goes.
And it's still fun.
Yeah,
it's crazy. All right, everybody. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a super fun stream. We hope you've enjoyed, and it's helped illuminate any kind of confusion or questions you have about these 2 games that are
try these games.
Really kind of coming out about the same time, I guess. When do you expect the next Winds of Exchange to happen? End of the year?
They said that was early next year.
Early next year.
They still have the crowdfunding campaign and print it and all that kind of stuff. And SolForge is next month.
Yeah, it's good. So it's imminent, and it had a great run at Gen Con apparently. A lot of fun to be had there. So, if you want to learn more about Keyforge, you can check out GameFound. Currently, they're doing a campaign to add support for Winds of Exchange or something like that. So check that out there. Also, if you're watching this well later, like after you're a year out, and you're like, I'm trying one of these games. You can find information on our website as well, teamcovenant.com. You can get subscriptions. It's our mainline offering for all of these games that we support. Basically, you sign up. We send you booster boxes of whatever games you want automatically as soon as they release. And we don't charge you until a few weeks before those things come out. So if you just want to automatically get stuff for games because you're an expandable game player and you don't want to hassle with pre-orders and tracking things down and all of that, you just sign up, super simple, and then we send you product, and that keeps us online doing what we're doing and supports our mission. Also got a new local store here in Tulsa coming up. We had a great meeting this morning. Things are looking nice. I think it's actually coming together unless we get that budget estimate back, and it's like, oh, by the way, this is still billions of dollars because the world's in crisis. So that's happening, and that is one of the things we're able to do because of the support of everybody watching and buying and all of those things. So we appreciate you. very much.
And it's worth mentioning, SolForge is the first set is coming out in late September. So we do have a subscription for that is going to come with an exclusive Alt-Art promo card. If you want that, now-ish is the time to start really actually signing up.
This is coming up quick, isn't it? We'll be processing that pretty soon.
It is around the bend. And if you haven't tried these games, highly recommend it. Both of these games are great. And the communities for both so far have been fantastic. So if you're looking for a great game, a great community to be a part of, I can't recommend these two highly enough.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys next time. Take care. And don't do anything that Zach would do. Like eating these nice,
dunk on
healthy
Steven
foods.
at SolForge.
Take care, everybody.